An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
テーペリンか。
the path, finishing a mission. Anyway, how to be, how to touch, how to understand. She's looking for what she's meant to be. Figure out how to be, how to see again. Put it back together from words and tales. Does she know which way is right? Does she know which way is wrong? She often keeps wandering in circles each time. Where does she come from and go? What does she want and chase for? She is lost in the mud, and which way will she go? The river is flowing, and where will she go? They all have eyes to see, ears to hear, they all look the same. They all have hands and feet, how are they different? Keep looking for the path, she is lost in the mud and haze. Keep walking down the path, where is the right way? Nothing's as it seems. Nothing's as it seems in this dream. They all have eyes to see, ears to hear, they all look the same. They all have hands and feet, how are they different? Keep looking for the path, she is lost in the mud and haze. Keep walking down the path, finishing a mission. Anyway, how to be, how to touch, how to understand. She's looking for what she's meant to be. Figure out how to be, how to see again. Put it back together from words and tales. Does she know which way is right? Does she know which way is wrong? She often keeps one.
Hello everyone, my name is Archer, and this is more Reverse 1999. How you're all doing today? How was your guys' weekend? Is everything okay? Are you taking care of yourself? Has someone else called you beautiful today? Because if not, hello beautiful, welcome. Hello Cindy, Decaf, Renato, appreciate you all coming. Today is the day that we're gonna witness for real, because I just did like 3 parts last time. Really witness the Folie et Deraison. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Probably not. Ah. And I am not seeing anything from chat for a hot second. Give me, yeah, okay. I am here. I'm here. Hello. Now I am reading the messages. Hello, Draggy. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just started. My toe got stabbed in onto a table chair. I feel like my whole is about to reverse itself. Your whole... I think you missed the body there. Which is funny because I just thought... Never mind. I'm doing good. Recoleta is bonkers. She bit Spatodia in 6 rounds. Meanwhile, my first successful attempt took 19. Also, by the way, congratulations on getting Spathodia. That's very cool. Vezapple was proud because last time that you pulled on stream, well, it didn't work fine. Even to claim Pet of Insight. Oh, we're having a somnambulism event. Is reset now because of the event? It is! Awesome! Oh, there's so much for us to do. It's so juicy. Okay, just letting everyone know that Jessica now is fully okay, and Resonance and Euphoriad, she's perfect. Now I'm starting to work on 6.
Well, the chair is in the middle of the room.
Yes, 6.
Take
Oh
a seat.
good, oh good. Huh? Who got Spatudia? Oh no, you said you got... You got... Wait, I said Spathodia? I said you got Spathodia? Damn, my mind's getting mushy. It was intended. The word body got reversed. Oh. Stop. See, you were way ahead of me. Archer got confused with Decision Recoleta. The end with an A is understandable. I mean, Sutil was the Recoletas of the... I mean, I appreciate you guys can't completely overlook my blunder of calling one character the other one. I appreciate you all for reversing my dumbness into just a silly mistake. I can imagine this Spathodia was actually strong whenever she came out. Many moons ago.
Listen to the melody of wind and waves.
But, did you guys actually got time to do the chapters by yourselves? Witness Folie et Deraison at your own leisure and time.
Listen up. Goodbye.
Yes, I don't want people to leave the stream just because they don't want spoilers. 2 brain cells instead of fighting each other, they're spreading their dumbass whoever. No, you guys are spreading healing. You guys, the world is healing and it's because of the both of you. And I appreciate that wholeheartedly. I already did a... Yes, of course. Big fans. Very dedicated, 100%. I complete chapter 9. I think the jailer is my favorite. Oh, you're talking about the Jaguar? Because that's a for sure cool character that I hope they release eventually.
I remember.
Even though I didn't got too much backstory on it, I still find the concept cool. And I'm a big fan of like animals on these types of games. Just like pickles, even though apparently China hates it. But let's not Jerry pander to China. We must have our freedom. I tried the Vertex Crimson Anachronies on Heavenborn's Red and found out that you can't deploy OE there because lore? So I was forced to do the previous Anachronies because I am a coward. Oh. Can you imagine being halted from using your character just because she's lore-wise dead? No, probably not that. It's not, probably not because of that specifically, I guess. But that would be pretty funny. Cannot play my character because it's canonically dead. I'm playing with a ghost. Jailer, more yeah, people please. The physician Rob? Probably? Properly? Okay, let's just do some trading. I believe I can do some trading. A 1. Oh, a 2. Okay, I think that's the best that I can do for now. I'm also planning on starting Limbus Company today, rerolling to please my gambling addiction, so I'm gonna get my hands full since I'm planning on playing P5X. I'm no longer rich. I told you, just let time take its time, and it's gonna happen. Okay, so since it's gay month, yay! Happy gay month! Happy gay month, everybody! We're all gay here. So I sent the apparent one. Or the chapter 9 one? I'm confused. Can you elaborate that question further? Yay, we are all gay. And you can use any meaning of gay for that word, by the way. I don't want to do straight erasure here on this stream. You know, guys, straight lives matter. Somewhat. I'm back and playing a fuck ton of gacha games. Yes, Queen. From absolute cinema to glorious literature. Hello, Dan. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. I mean, should I send the chapter 9 one or the appearance one because it's from the game month? I want you to see it. Send both. I will probably not see it right now because I'm really hell-bent into just getting Folie and Deraison ready and going. Oh, we have Willow again. That's great. Wait, we have this is cheap. Could you imagine me getting Willow before Olive? This is actually juicy. 20% off for the first 10 times. That's great. But we're not getting this. This is not we're not doing this. No, we're not doing this. We're gonna wait for Olive. I'm not gonna make silly mistakes with my money. Guys, I am prone to do that. Oh, new Voyages of Volatility. Sorry. Always a complicated word. Resist the urge, yes. I'm gonna resist the urges. Okay, it's time for us, like Dan just said, to witness not only Folie de Deraison, it's time for us to witness literature. Kamala's colors. For a drifter, a stay behind an iron-barred window can feel just like another stretch of desert.
Día tras día, la investigadora de paracausalidad se escondía en la naturaleza fuera del pueblo de Amalfitano, estudiando los datos que había recolectado. Una tarde, al anochecer, una voz llamó desde fuera de su cueva. Ella dejó el equipo y las cintas y salió afuera. Un hombre estaba de pie, curioso, frente a su puerta. ¿Qué haces aquí?, preguntó. levantando ambas cejas. Nada sucede en Amalfitano en estos días. El local se presentó como el empleado del banco. Probablemente tenía la cara más amable del lugar. Ojos brillantes, mejillas levantadas, una mandíbula suave. Era una cara llena de esperanza.
Draggy, it's all
La
about the
investigadora
numbers
le
that make
mostró
you
los
giggle.
espectros que había estado recopilando. He estado recolectando historias sobre el dado, explicó. Quizás ellos contienen la clave para explicar la aleatoriedad que muestra el destino. Ah, eso realmente me intriga, respondió rápidamente el empleado del banco. Me encantaría escuchar todo sobre eso, pero debo irme. No debo llegar tarde al funeral del pescador de dunas. Y con eso se fue. 3 días después, los mismos pasos regresaron a su cueva. ¿Volviste? ¿Cómo has estado? ¿Lograste llegar al funeral? Preguntó. No tengo idea de lo que estás hablando, respondió de manera cortante. No soy el hombre que crees que soy. Su rostro estaba agotado y demacrado, sus ojos hundidos profundamente en huecos vacíos. Era como si toda chispa de vida le hubiera sido arrancada, dejándolo solo con una cáscara vacía.
Okay, I think we're done because the story was actually going in auto without me actually putting it on auto. But very interesting as yes, very literally sure. I swear she gets her Folie, nothing will be safe. But it reverses in its Anjonala hate phase, cause why do Recollect gets worse when you bind her with Enjo, and why every enemy in Reverie now has captivated resistance. That's a good guess. I don't know. The game is the melancholic tropic. Maybe her Folie could make her old channel and the end of the round like Nautica. That would be cool. Blue Hotch wink wink. Yeah, there's a lot they can do to make Nala very much stronger. Wait for another year. If 1 year is too limited to Euphorias, then next year we'll definitely have Nala's Euphoria. Oh, 100%. I have no doubt that we're gonna get Nala's Euphoria by next year.
La investigadora insistió que no se había equivocado. Conozco a las personas por su naturaleza más profunda, hasta la sincronización de sus espectros. Nunca me he equivocado antes.
But I do hope that they
Lo
don't.
que tú digas, el hombre murmuró de manera áspera. No entiendo nada de tus ideas tan elevadas. Solo déjame ir. Ha sido un largo día de pesca y lo único que quiero ahora es desplomarme en mi cama tambaleante. Se alejó con pasos que sonaban exactamente como los del empleado del banco.
Okay, sorry, because Recoleta is very focused on telling her story here.
As you might have noticed, Miss Burton, this facility isn't just a prison. It's also a research center.
Okay, it's not jumping again. So I agree 100% with the scheduling, and I do hope that that's what they make. I had something in mind, but I got cut because she didn't stop talking. I was going to say something pertinent to the story. Whatever. If I remember later, I will talk about it. But hello, Steffi. Welcome to the chat, my darling. How are you doing? How was your weekend? How was pampering? If people don't know here on this chat, because, well, I don't even talk about it. It's not about me. But, Steffi is going on a trip very soon. Actually, isn't like very soon, to be honest, like, what? Very soon, like, very now, like very on the next few days or something. Yes! Awesome! Congratulations, Steffi! The letter got put in the mail, and I'm on my way to the train station right now. So, Steffi is traveling all the way to Portugal to visit family and sightsee and relax because she is a very successful but busy streamer, and she needs her time to wind off a little bit. Not a 3-hour train ride, then a 9-hour flight. I wish you the best, most comfy, relaxing, and soothing 11 hours of riding and flying that you can ever think about. I hope you get there safe and have a lot of fun, and I expect pictures. And I hope you really, really, really have fun. Do not put yourself in a position that you might get stressed. Thank you, my love. My anxiety's through the roof. I can imagine. Yes, I am not gonna be able to see right now because I'm in the middle of stream, but as soon as I'm done, I will be following every single picture and reacting to everything. So just keep them coming. I am doing well. I think you asked before. I had a wonderful weekend with my friends. We just played games for hours. Yesterday, I did something that I haven't done in so long. I woke up 10 a.m. and I just played. And I stopped playing at about 1 a.m. today. So, just playing completely non-stop. Like a good gamer would. A real gamer would. That's what happens whenever I do play an MMORPG, and especially with my friends. I tried calling you when I got home the other day. I saw, and I am so sorry that I missed your call. I think you actually said that you're going to call me. And I don't remember what I've done right after. I'm so sorry. I think I was talking to Sandy, and then I slept. But yes, I hope everything goes well for you, hun.
Its full name is the Panopticon of Kamala. It was established by the Foucault Association in 1975.
Panopticon?
We've hosted workshops, academic sessions, and even lectures about the Panopticon. You may even have seen some reports about it. Experts of psychoanalysis and scholars from various fields have come here to exchange ideas and seek collaboration in their studies.
Can't wait for Reverse to release the gamer type unit who's all retro gaming from the 90s like Jay in Mercuria era. That's fun. I like that. I wish this game had more interactivity between players though. I know that that's not a requirement. I just think that's fun. Because I wish that I could do more with you guys with on my friends list before besides just borrowing units or visiting the wilderness. I want to do the mix it up and add the crowd control when I get and add crowd control. Crowd control? I think I heard that before. I think I saw someone with crowd control on their channel once, but I don't remember exactly how it worked. Hello, Kev. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing, mister? How was your weekend? I hope you had a great time. I sure did. Thank you for coming. Feel at home.
In many ways, the Panopticon is unlike any other prison you've seen before.
Also, this is a shout out that I feel that I haven't done in a while, but I've been actually lurking on Cav's stream quite often, believe it or not, even though I don't talk much because I am a silly person that do not talk whenever I lurk. Most times whenever I lurk on anybody's stream, to be honest. I am so sorry if I don't. How do I send message on this new layout for the... Damn, I don't know how to actually send a message. Okay, I'm trying to do a shout out. And I don't know how, because the... Yeah. Steffi... No. Okay, how do I do this? Alright guys, I usually do my stuff through my phone app, but the phone app just changed the whole layout, and I don't know actually where I can press to send a message. Thank you, Steffi, I appreciate that. Yeah, I have to take a look at how to actually send a message on this. I feel like a grandma. Oh, I did! Damn, I'm stupid. Double shout out, it doesn't matter. Guys, please go follow Kev. Great content creator. Kev streams every time. And different than my stream, his stream has no ads because he just streams for fun. He had been playing the Assassin's Creed, and now he's playing Mad Max. Very good. So guys, go take a look at Kev. Kev comes in here quite often, never asks for nothing. But I sure want to shout him out regardless, just because I enjoy, and he's a very good time person, and I like people that makes me feel like welcomed whenever I come to their stream, and Kev sure is one of these people. I am not worthy. Oh, dude, of course you are. Everybody here is worth it. And again, I am someone that I have no problem giving shoutouts.
I see. No wonder Miss Recoleta has gone to such
I just
lengths
forget to
become a
do
part of
this.
it.
Again, a lot of people sometimes ask, why don't you raid someone and stuff? Sometimes I just forget, guys. Or I'm just
Actually,
eager to
my
go to
assistant
bed
and I
or
are here
play a
to
game.
inquire about a prisoner named Doris. Does that name sound familiar?
Yes, Doris does sound familiar. I got no shout. You always get, okay,
Not that I
Steffi,
recall.
you always
Could you have
get
used a different
shout
name?
outs.
But does
Let
she
me
look-
shout out Steffi, guys. Because then she's gonna feel like she's not loved. And she is. Shout out to Steffi, even though she's not gonna be streaming in the next few days. Still, she's my bestie. She has a permanent shout out. That's better than most. There. Don't forget. Thank you so much, Veneto. Okay, someone, I will not accept someone. You gotta give me a name by the end of this stream. You're gonna be streaming during the trip? Oh, you're gonna be doing IRL streams. Okay, fancy. I thought you were just gonna do like post
She'd have
stuff.
arrived here about 3
Cool.
days ago. It's also possible that she came as a visitor, not a prisoner.
Okay, she has a permanent shout out.
She's a blind woman who always carries an old
I want
typewriter.
none of that.
She used to be a doctor at the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence in Brazil.
Yeah, she used to be a doctor in Brazil. And now she's without borders. Actually, if she's in this prison, then that's a big border.
And on the subject of different names, she once wrote for Atu under the name Erd.
You should raid Retro Pro Frank and tell him I sent you. If that's what Vernito wants because he just purchased the guided raid, sure.
I don't think I've seen anyone fitting that description. And as I
Okay,
said, we
so
haven't
yeah,
had
we're
any
gonna raid
visitors in
Retro
some
Pro
time.
Frank.
Certainly not in the last 3 days.
But
They
did see her.
are follow
I
player.
saw her walking towards Kamala prison.
If they're on, yeah. No, usually I think Frank is online whenever I am done streaming. They stream for long hours. But yeah, I will.
Someone must have mixed up their memories. Simply put, I don't recall seeing anyone by that name or with that description here.
Well, believe it or not, I did raid a couple of people that were about to end the stream. So it's usually very annoying for me to see, hey, raiding, and they're, hello, bye guys, and the stream ends, and I'm like, okay, the raid is kind of dead. Make sure you tell him I sent you. He'll love it and could be good for you. Okay, I'll tell him Steffi sent me. Don't worry.
I see. Thank you, miss. Perhaps we made a mistake.
But I feel, oh, a couple of updates before I continue this, talking about streaming overall. I am not really much to hang up on it. Not in terms of I don't want to do streaming anymore. I will stream every morning as I've been doing. But I actually had a talk with my mom over the weekend. If people don't know, because I don't like to divulge too much of this personal part, but I've been going through some financial hardships here at home. And my mom is retired. She worked since she was a kid, and she earned her well-deserved rest. But the thing is, we are having a lot of financial issues because of bad choices we've made throughout our financial life. And I was having like a hard time trying to find an answer to our problems. And during the weekend, someone gave me some of my friends kind of brainstormed to give me ideas on what could I do to get some money. And then someone gave me a very good idea that I passed it on to my mom, and I believe she said yes. So that's probably what we're going to be doing, and it is selling cakes and desserts. So it's pretty popular here in Brazil, like those very small cakes and stuff for people to eat, and they can sell out for a very good price. So in order for us to make some extra money, me and my mom are gonna start baking and selling cakes, and that's pretty fun. I appreciate that she actually um, took on my suggestion and said yes, because usually my mom is very combative against those ideas, but recently our TV broke, and that was my mom's main source of entertainment. She would use to just watch TV the whole day, and with the TV broken, she's just watching stuff on her cell phone the whole day. And I find that very sad because it's too expensive for us to repair the TV and also too expensive for us to buy a new one. So I said, okay, let's do this because that one can be a source of entertainment for both of us. We can make some extra money and then we can start paying some stuff and buying some stuff that we need. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm very happy that I can share with you guys because that also means that I can do something else besides streaming to earn revenue, and that would kind of take off myself off of like the streaming mindset of like, because one thing that you guys don't know also is that I do pay attention on everybody that comes in and out, that likes my videos, that watches my videos, that posts any comments, that comes on here, that says hi. I care a lot. But that like grinding mindset of like money, like in like numbers coming going up, can kind of detach you sometimes of the fun of it all. And I just really want to have fun and talk to you guys like I do every day. Yes, it's a great idea. Thank you, thank you. Can you ship it to Florida? I find it hard because there's a lot of regulations when it comes to shipping food. And also, I wouldn't, because like we're not gonna make like industrial kinds of cakes, so we're not gonna put like tons of like what's those the chemicals that you can put in food to make them last longer. But I would love to. Cakes, just don't eat your inventory. That would be my wife's problem. I I'm there with her because that was kind of my biggest like hurdle on um talking about like doing food, because I love cake. Cake is my favorite dessert. But cake is like dessert especially is going out and so quickly here in Brazil, like because we are very much like sweet tooth humans on Brazil. Like people love their sweets. And I'm trying to just do some crazy stuff also. But we're gonna start with just the normal flavors so we can get it going. But I want to do some new, like, different stuff. Oh, I was joking. Oh, okay. But again, I would love to if I could find a way. because the only thing that I can do actually is desserts and baking cake because I am terrible at cooking in general. Okay, let's go back to the game. I've been dilly-dallying talking about other stuff, and I know a lot of people want me to do this. So okay, okay, let's continue.
Miss Recoleta, you've gone to great lengths to get into the Panopticon. Would you mind telling us why?
Oh, forget about hand delivering. One day I hope I can bake you a cake in local so you can taste it.
Finally! I've been waiting for you to ask. I'm here to find my pen pal in Comala.
There's nothing like a delicious baked cake made at home right on that time. Just something like not very sweet, just the cake and maybe some tea or coffee, and then we can sit down and talk.
You have a pen pal?
I'd love to
In
do that.
here?
Yes. 6 months ago, I went to a book exhibition in Guadalajara and came across the contact details of a few writers. I sent them my novel and asked for feedback. Looking back, it was a bit forward, but nothing unheard of between writers. A lot of friendships start through letters, you see.
Oh, calm down. Don't kick my ass. I just said that I'm just good at desserts. If you want to make me do anything else, I'll probably have a hard time struggling. You gotta help me. I would need something with a lot of lemon flavoring. Oh, lemon cake is delicious. Lemon meringue cake is delicious as well. I love it. We sit down and talk. 3 days later, we're still talking. Yes. We're great friends. And again, I appreciate Steffi because Steffi is also someone that can talk a lot. And that's not a negative. Again, I told that to Sandy because I think Sandy and Steffi are probably the only person here on this stream that actually spend like a lot of hours talking to me. And I appreciate people that can talk a lot because I'm more of a not talker. I love listening to people and reacting to whatever they're doing and talking. So again, any big talkers that can make me just busy throughout big long times, I appreciate it because I don't have to work so hard. That's one of my favorite things whenever I was talking to Infrit. Infrit can talk like nothing for hours. Okay, let me get some water. We need to just redeem the hydrate, and I have no water. Let me hydrate. Be right back, real quick. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I also took me some time to get my medicine going. Big cakes needed. Yes. Yes, we are besties. Oh my god, Infred has no off switch, lol, but we love him. His letter went out today. Oh yes, I think I read that. That's nice. I hope he find that cool. I was actually thinking about Infred over the weekend. I was talking to someone else, and their life story is very similar to Infred when it comes to just a lot of hardships and turning out to a great person regardless of everything you went through. And I feel like for me it's always a blessing to meet people that despite life giving them the worst hand possible, they still managed to turn out great, regardless. I really feel that those people are the ones that propel me forward into not feeling sad about anything that happens with my life, because like they showcase that you can still push through even though things are not looking good. Or mini tiny cakes. That's exactly what I'm doing here. A lot of tiny cakes. It's not actually tiny cakes, it's just a cake that's cut into a lot of tiny pieces. But still, here's the other pea in our pot. Yes, I hope he's doing fine over on basic. I know that can be a little tough for him. But I hope that eventually I can sit down with him for it whenever he gets to A school and we can actually talk. Because I feel that I'm in a much better headspace than I was whenever I met him the first time.
And Aleph wrote back.
Oh, Aleph! Aleph is her writing buddy? That's nice. Recoleta produces a thick stack of letters from her coat. The recipient's address changes with each letter, reflecting the turbulent lifestyle of the wandering writer. Yet, the sender address is eternally constant. Kamala.
And how much do you know about this pen pal of yours?
Oh, well, he calls himself Aleph, which is a grammatically masculine word, so...
Really? Is Aleph grammatically masculine? I never actually thought about it. By the way, I find the name Aleph, not Alex or something like that. Very nice. Aleph, it's a cool name. If I had a kid... No, I always say that if I had a kid, like a kid that, like a literal baby, I would try to devise a way, because I think the worst thing possible is that you need to name the kid. Because I would rather, like, let the kid live for a couple of years and let the kid decide for itself what name they would get. But, Aleph would be a cool name. I'll be back. Just got to the train station. Awesome. Have a good time, Steffi. I see you back soon.
So you assume Aleph is a man?
A reasonable suspicion, but in her experience, never a certainty. That's very nice. I like that even though it's assumed we're not certain, it could be a girl called Aleph.
Yes, he's probably a poet, a writer, perhaps even an alchemist. He's one of the brightest people I know. There's never been a question that he couldn't answer. I've asked him about religion, politics, history, potions, even critters in length and breadth. Can you imagine someone who knows all those things and so extensively too?
That's awesome. So Aleph is clearly a genius. That's pretty nice. That's my guy.
And he helped me with my novel. He always seems to know the best ways to bring my characters to life. Honestly, he's so insightful. I've begun wondering if he's omniscient. With his help, my story grew richer and fuller, like a well-tended plant. Strangely, can't seem to take it any further now. It's as if the roots have been sapped of their strength.
Aleph is a time traveler. Is that like a name of a time traveler? Aleph? Or are you just saying that?
I couldn't understand why. So, I resolved that I would see him in person to find out.
Again with this story about your uncanny pen pal, I've already told you 12 times. It's all very moving, but it still doesn't justify your actions. Writers experience mental blocks all the time, yet you don't see them trying to break into a prison over it.
She does have a point.
Yes, the Jaguar has a point.
Please, Burden, Jailer,
Have a little mercy, will you? Hold on. I've been meaning to ask. Why are you only calling her jailer? Don't you know her name? Or do you just prefer addressing people by their occupation?
Oh, okay.
Oh, about that.
Unexpectedly, it is a Jaguar herself that speaks up. By the way, Sandy, how are the decks from the Pot in the Box going? I've seen a lot of messages from you and a good friend that played PoE. Forgot his name. So sorry, my head is terrible. But he was helping you with the decks.
It's okay, Miss Vert. I don't mind being called by my job title. I take pride in what I do.
Nice.
I'm perfectly fine with just being the jailer.
Actually, the jailer is kind of a very cool title to carry around. Okay, I think can you imagine just be calling the streamer? It's kind of silly, actually.
Exactly. A researcher is a researcher, and a jailer is a jailer. Titles and code names often tell us more about people than their ordinary given names, don't you think? Take Sonetto, for example. Your name comes from sonnets, doesn't it? That great poetic form from Italy.
Yes. Think we're gonna have to lean into Voltron or Aprilia if you want to make it work. No. Oh well, that was kind of a given, and my idea that would be the top of the list. Idea is just to make a Voltron because it's RS. But I don't know. Kind of disappointed though. I find a little bit the streamer. But maybe it's just me. I think I would like a more imponent title. And it's just maybe just because I don't see myself as much as a streamer. I am a person that streams. I would love something like the barkeep, or the gardener, or the baker, or other things that I think I do successfully good, but something that I think about myself, I guess. I'm a person that streams. Maybe one day. The apple? No, wait, that's yes, that's taken.
Some people mistakenly think Shakespeare invented it. Some say it was Petrarca, though no one really knows when the first sonnet was written. Sorry, I'm straying from my point. You're Italian, aren't you, Sonetto? Is that your real name, or just a code name? Were your parents poets?
I like her Coletta. I'm seeing what she's doing here. She's really breaking it down, because at the end of the day, your name could just be a given name from your parents, and there's not much to it. Your title can tell a lot more about a person than just their name. That's why I'm a firm believer of you actually using your name, like you choosing your name, because that actually speaks for me much louder than a name that was chosen for you by someone else way back when.
As much as I'd like to be able to answer your question, I never knew my parents. My earliest memories were of the School of Primary Defense of Mankind. I've lived there since I was a small child.
Yes.
My apologies. That was thoughtless of me.
By the way, none of those kids, but especially Sonetto, she doesn't feel like she needs to know who her parents were, I guess, I feel.
It's fine. You meant no ill intent, I'm sure. Timekeeper, if Miss Recoleta was right about Dr. Doris's whereabouts, perhaps the jailer is keeping things from us. Or perhaps Dr. Doris visited the Panopticon without her knowledge. Either way, we need to do some digging here.
But I hope we can visit Italy. I feel like Sonetta wants to visit Italy. Every so now and again, I feel like she's speak about it.
I agree. Let's see if we can talk to some of the inmates and find out what they know.
Imagine if most kids in the PDM were children of people who sacrificed their spot in the storm shelter. I think they were all researchers. That's my guess. They were probably very big, important people on the Foundation, and thought that sending their kids to the Foundation school was the best future they could give them. Because, really, imagine here. If you're aware that there's a storm reversing
Ladies,
everything,
We're about to enter the main hall of the Panopticon.
and people were usually were usually thinking that getting caught by the storm would kill you, wouldn't giving your children a space on this place that's immune to the storm a solid way for them to survive?
This is one of the places where the inmates spend their recreation time. At this hour, they are supposed to be in their cells. But what's all that noise?
The jailer seems to be tense with the apparently unusual amount of noise.
Miss Burton, could you keep an eye on Recoleta if anything happens?
Which also makes things interesting when you think about Matilda. I love that I need to bring all the conversations back to her. But you gotta remember that Matilda was probably one of the very few kids over on that school that was put there many years after she should have been. Because most kids have been there since their very, 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 very early years. But Matilda, I believe, got to the school whenever she was already 6 or 7. So she's one of the very few kids that was actually put there afterwards. And again, I wonder why. I wonder what was the reason on putting Matilda there so late. Because again, I don't know much about Beryl, but I already guess that she's very calculate. Recoleta tried her best to avoid the hard stare of the feline jailer by blending into the Foundation team.
Certainly.
What do you take me for? I'm not going to run away.
I really hope that's a true thing. Like, Matilda for me needs to be like, I would love, for me it would be a very like full circle moment, thinking that Matilda could become the first like 5-star to get a 6-star version. I would be totally down for that, by the way. A stronger version of herself. I definitely think that it needs more bestow creatures than it currently has. I agree, I love bestow creatures. A deck full of them would be very fun, because they can either be used as normal creatures, or they can just become auras for something stronger. My problem with the Pearl Ears, Pearl Ears has lifelink, which is already a good one to have if you want to make Pearl Ears itself the Voltron of the deck, which usually happens. Usually the commander is the Voltron target. I don't know. It's complicated. Like I was pretty I was pretty okay with how the deck was turning out. Again, the deck doesn't need to be perfect, spotless. We can always iterate on top of it. I hope the other decks are going fine. And then it's a barcode power creep that works with the 5-star self, but I don't think they'll do that because they hate the pre 2.75 stars. Well, it's easy for us to say that because of Buddy Fairchild and how strong that thing is.
That'd be a pretty cheesy way to start a story.
Please, just stay close to me.
I was. No. I was thinking something, but I guess not. What is this? Darkness has no form. The ever-shifting gaze seeps into every crevice. Is this a battle? No. Oh, looks like we've got a new arrival. It's pitch black in here. Can't be sure she's new just yet. Hey there, welcome to La Sociedad de Poeta de las Americas. Or maybe she's one of those who broke out and came back on her own accord? Keeping quiet, huh? I get it. This must be a sacred moment for you, a return to the darkness. Yay, our first anecdoris.
La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas?
Wait, is this all these scribbles is how Doris sees stuff? Because it has been debatable if she's actually blind or not. The texture she felt on her way here did not match the words she just heard. Guided by her keen hearing, she pauses mid-step in what seems to be a reasonably open space. Oh, maybe this is like how the sonar, or how she touches things and feels things. It doesn't matter color more than just texture. The room falls into silence, like the longest minute in human history. Are you still there? A faint cough, a heave of a sigh in the darkness. Pardon me, but have we met before? This is my first time in this prison, as far as I can recall. What a strange thing to say, prison. When was the last time we heard someone say that? Back when the narrator was published? Wait, you aren't some Asian ghost here in pursuit of realism, are you? There is a theatrical flair in her voice. Rusty gates, pitch black cells, prison. Bars for exchanging letters, a peaceful and scheduled place. Sociedad de Poetas. And no, we don't know you. The three of them are spaced just far enough apart to barely make out each other's face in the dark. What a wonderful example, Garcia. Exactly. It all depends on how you choose to see the world, my new friend. Actually, this is a very neat for them to, like, these people are such writers. They do not see this prison as a prison. They see it as a comfortable place that they can just write and exchange letters with one another and other people from outside. Roberta, we don't have much time. This might be the most important gathering of the month. No, maybe even of the year. Also, I cannot see much details, but this guy's outfit looks hella cool. I love the little chains on the neck thing. Pretty dope. Magiloon, hello! Welcome! Welcome! We're just doing the first anecdote inside chapter 9, I guess. Anecdoris. That's a cool name. You're right, Garcia. At this moment, nothing is more important than the salon of Idealist has so carefully prepared. You should focus on sorting out those manuscripts before. Or first.
Pardon the interruption, but might I ask?
May I ask why your organization is called La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas? I assume it isn't simply due to geography. Garcia reminds me of Vincent Valentine. Vincent Valentine from Final Fantasy VII? Really love Vincent. Such a cool character. Don't worry, Senora. We make it a point to introduce our sociedad to every new friend, but now isn't quite the time. After the salon ends, We'll ask the jailer about your accommodations. Wait a minute. Roberta, your eyes are well adjusted to the dark. Use them. She's neither a newcomer nor a returnee. She's a blind woman. Ah, please forgive Garcia's rudeness, Senora. A sensory limitation can sometimes bring sharper intuition. In that colorful world of the mind, I'm sure what you see is even more beautiful than reality. But if you weren't brought in by the physician, then why are you here? She tries to construct a fiction in her mind, something that could justify the surreal nature of her arrival. From the humid trade winds of São Paulo to the crashing surf of the cliff, now this strange land greets me for the first time with nothing but cold silence. Oh, Grace was taking her here. Erd is to be placed in Ushuaia's Kamala's prison. She's not to be treated as an ordinary inmate. In the words of the preacher, you are our honored guest, Miss Erd.
I've come to learn the name of this land. Ushuaia.
From that young lady's retelling, it lies at the southernmost tip of the vast continent of South America. So we're still in South America, okay.
As we walked,
Yeah,
I
because
could
Tierra
feel
del
her
Fuego.
gaze upon me. Steady, yet never intrusive.
Southernmost, so we are somewhere in Chile or something? I've informed the administrator of Kamala's prison of your identity and special circumstances. He will ensure your safety. Good luck and farewell.
I sensed I had been brought to a place most unusual. A building with a quiet peculiarity in the air.
Two attendants follow close behind me, some form of liquid dripping from their face.
I suppose I must claim a little freedom for myself in this place.
I thought the darkness was a blessing. It wasn't too difficult to shake them off.
I'm sorry for your undue trouble, my diligent friends.
I like that she can keep herself very calm even in this situation. I am a writer, and I mostly write under the name
I'm
Erd.
here for a short visit, hoping to find some inspiration for my next story.
Yeah, I was not expecting her to start talking right after me. See, Garcia, this lady is a writer, a good soul. You almost made us miss out on meeting a kindred spirit. Come, come. I'm sure you fall in love with our salon. This has nothing to do with me. It's dark here, but I suppose you have already grown used to walking in the dark. Sorry, I mean no offense. Okay, interesting. Oh, that was actually a pretty interesting little tidbit of information. Perhaps the pen pal you never see is the one you truly need. The pen pal I never met. Aleph, my dear pen pal, enclosed is the latest revision of my novel. In your last letter, you suggested the role of a bank clerk, making Amalfitano with the stamp of the capitalist production model. An excellent idea. In this revision, I have incorporated some of my own thoughts as well. That is everything about my novel that I was impatient to share with you. Perhaps you won't mind me discussing something else. Throughout my creative journey, your encouragement and validation have been my greatest comfort when facing the countless closed doors of publishers. The long, futile efforts feel insignificant in the face of your understanding. Oh, my dear pen pal, I say this sincerely, though I suppose such explanations are unnecessary. Perhaps I do not need to waste more ink describing just how much your letters mean to me, so I ask with both sincerity and trepidation. May we speak in person about the dead, the desert, fate, and ending that troubles me so much, and the tides of imagination and insight that carry us both. Recoleta, at the Poetry Gathering in Santa Fe de Bogota, Open Air Theater, Colombia. Ms. Recoleta, as I have mentioned several times in my letters, as you may have already surmised, I reside in a prison. This is why I have never met my pen pals in person. Due to its remote location and cold climate, Ushuaia is not a place people readily visit. People would rather sip a hot drink in one of the Buenos Aires century-old cafes than travel such a distance. Finally, I still wish you the best on your creative path. Aleph, at the Kamala prison in Ushuaia. Now this is very forthcoming about his situation. The delicious. Look at how many clear drops. A salute to a literary society born within a prison. No, a tribute to an impossible miracle. Latin American fable.
I didn't expect any of this from what we saw outside.
I'm interested on the graffiti on this wall. I really feel that we can actually probably read something interesting if we actually pay attention to it. I didn't expect any of this from what I saw outside, okay. The mottled yet pristine walls, the still waters, the silent white towers standing within the labyrinth. Nearby, several prisoners form a circle, some standing, some sitting, engaged in conversation.
Oh, excuse me for a moment. I have duties that I must attend to.
With a sigh, the jailer steps into the gathering, causing a strangely subdued reaction from the prisoners.
They don't seem intimidated by her at all.
Yeah. They just look like a bunch of artists having a chat in the garden. And the jailer seems to be like a grumpy neighbor coming over to ask them to keep it down.
The grumpy neighbor continues her chastising.
Everyone, you know the rules. There are to be no after-hours gatherings here without the physician's approval.
You sound softer and softer each time you come to warn us. Why not just join us? Isn't it better than circling around the Panopticon all day? And look around you. We're in the Hall of New Encounters. What better place to host a salon?
You're missing out in Comala if you don't even get a taste of our literature.
Exactly. Even those oil-dripping musicians drop by from time to time. Not that they're the kind to care about the beauty of words.
Oil-dripping musicians? Timekeeper, could they mean...
Before the jailer can say anything else, two of the prisoners simultaneously gesture for her to stay silent, pointing to the center of their gathering.
Quiet now, please. The Ediles Salon is about to start.
Okay, it's just me or the word idealist here keeps glitching. And it's literally just this one word. It's actually pretty cool.
These people seem friendly enough. Why don't we see what this is about?
En desiertos, en estrellas, dentro de laberintos.
En aguas, en espejos, dentro de reflejos.
Soñamos sobre la almohada de paja de la muerte. Aquí estamos, rendiendo homenaje a los fantasmas.
Para rendirlo todo otra vez. Para rendirlo todo otra vez.
My dear friends, we face a difficult truth. The movement of visceral realism still stumbles in the dark. Our poems, our language, our minds are tangled by a stifling vine. A mundane, stale vision shared among all bourgeoisie.
Bourgeoisie.
We follow this vision blindly, clinging to the comfort brought by logic and conventional wisdom. And by it, we nip every branch of new art in the bud. Poems are perhaps too fragile an outgrowth to develop one's life upon. But here, we may light them like candles at our funerals. Let poetry become the bridge between us and the world.
I really like his aesthetic. So cool. A lone clap breaks the silence. It comes earlier than all others cheers from the audience. That's Recoleta.
As we come back and forth over the boundaries of life and death, the old obstacles begin to take on a new look. With the eyes of poets, we may see behind them. You're a visceral realist. I can't be mistaken. You must be.
The idealist's eyes peer through the grove of literary enthusiasts, reaching a distant, drifting new world.
A lonely cowboy, finally home.
So cool. Also, this little star on his thing faintly reminds me of the one that Voyager uses.
What a wonder.
But without the little jewel by the side.
You're in time. The salon has just begun. And La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas isn't like those salons that care more about who's invited than the art. All are welcome here.
A literary salon in a prison? Though, so far it seems to have more dancing than poems.
Did you understand what that man just said?
No, sorry, Timekeeper. I need a moment to think it through.
Don't worry, Sonato. I would guess we're not the only ones who are confused here. Miss Jailer, is this that peculiarity about Kamala you mentioned earlier?
Enough, idealist. You're still an inmate here, and you are walking a very fine line right now.
Oh, I'm quite aware of where I am and what lines I tread. This is a prison, the safest place for poets in this part of the continent. One cannot be arrested twice, after all.
The men's words draw laughter from the other prisoners as they turn to discuss the speech with excitement.
But please, don't trouble yourself with our little farce. What harm could a few poets possibly do?
All the irregular rhymes and wide contradictions of aesthetics converge into a chaotic concurrent, crashing against the newcomers. Recoleta clenches her fists in shock, certain that the man before her is her mysterious pen pal.
Senor Idealist, might I ask you something?
Hold on, Recoleta. All forms of communication with the inmates must conform to our regulations. We will need to record the conversation and submit it to higher authorities for review.
I have some questions for the gentleman as well. But we're more than willing to follow the rules. I think the person I'm looking for might have attended this literary salon, or at least talked to some of its members. I'd wager she's spoken to that gentleman. That is, if she has been here at all.
I see. Go ahead then. Just watch the time.
As the visitors petition the jailer, Recoleta pushes past the bustling crowd and takes a deep breath.
Are you Aleph?
The noisy atmosphere plunges into silence, just like still waters nearby. The Aedilis is evidently taken aback by the name.
Oh, another visitor looking for Olive.
So you know him?
Naturally, but I'm not obliged to speak of him to one who does not, stranger.
Talon hosts in a non-committal, turning towards Recoletta's companions.
And you, young lady in the hat, are you here for Olive as well? What a lively day this is.
No, I'm looking for a blind woman. Her name is Doris.
Ah, yes, I remember. Her writing was impeccable, like an exquisite crocodile skin handbag in a shop window. Elegant, yet condescending.
Crocodile skin handbag. That's very much Eternity's type.
Do you know where she is now?
I'm not able to keep track of every inmate here, miss. Perhaps you should ask those who have seen everything from above, through the glass, where the scrutinizing eyes of power look down on us.
Eyes?
She scans the prison hall. The walls, the great tower, and the pool remain unchanged. Nothing appears amiss. All the prisoners present nod in agreement, prompting a wary sigh from the jailer.
Have you taken your medicine today, idealist?
I'm feeling marvelous. Today I require no help from them.
I've warned you. It's unwise to act against the physician's orders.
Act against him? No one may act against him here. The physician must have misunderstood us. I suspect he doesn't understand half of what we say. I'd like to know how he got his medical degree. Not by cracking open skulls, I should hope.
The prisoners exchange knowing smiles.
What a pity, jailer. You know, I've always believed you had the soul of a poet, just like us. We've already spoken enough rebellious thoughts outside of Komala. How else do you think we ended up in your nut house?
Again, the little glitches is so amusing. I think it's from the story. I don't think it's from the game because it doesn't happen all the time. Just very specific times.
We've been here far too long. Long after the junta was removed from office. After our home became a deserted wasteland in the aftermath of the Latin American boom.
Ooh.
What are you getting at?
That power is boring, meaningless. Nothing holds on to power forever. And the one true connection we have to life is poetry.
See, jailer? Even an outsider understands our ideas better than you. It's time to open your eyes to reality. La Sociedad is the only way for us to feel truly alive in here, beneath the gaze of those prying, ever-vigilant eyes.
Idealist, last warning. Stop this now.
Okay.
Fine, fine. All right, compañeros. Sadly, the salon must come to an end, as our jailer insists.
The crowd murmurs and grumbles as they begin to disperse.
Dear friends, I do not mean to abuse the power of suspense. I sincerely invite you to come with me to the heart of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. Perhaps you'll find the person you look for there.
The man strikes a gesture somehow equally comedic and solemn.
We'd love to. Only if that's okay with you, Miss Jailer.
I suppose that's all right. You're already here. We can call it part of your tour, but please, ladies, take none of their rambling seriously.
Thank you, jailer. Please, follow me.
There's nothing more real than the words of the insane. We're gonna fight? Who? Again, it's one of those, probably we're fighting because of fighting's sake.
Ah!
Okay. Right direction and the path will reveal itself.
Wait, this isn't the way to the gallery.
It isn't the usual way. It's a shortcut. We call it the reptilian complex and primal hunger route. Much faster than the limbic system and postmodern anxiety route, let me tell you.
Reptilian is the natural urges of the humans, natural instincts. That's what we call our reptilian instincts, I guess. The limbic system, I forgot exactly what limbic system stands for. Sorry guys, I know that might sound a little stupid.
But this passageway has long been abandoned and entries prohibited. It's extremely dangerous too.
Alright, is a nod to Disco Elysium. I mean, hey, 140 more clear jobs for us. Yes. Disco, I have yet to play Disco Elysium. I've heard it's a great game.
Relax, Jayla. No one, not even you, knows this prison better than us.
But, Timekeeper, I think we've just gone in a circle.
Hey, none of that actually helped me with anything. I need to find the right one, but I'm not sure which one is the right one. Is the right one literally the one pointing to the right?
Be serious. Stay focused. Easy, la. Copy that. Now lightning. Thunder Talisman, scientific version.
Oh, I need 3 hits. Oh, that's why. Okay. Okay, I was just reserving.
What's your race?
Just AoE. Oh. Okay, I thought I need to break one in particular. Fair enough.
Be serious. Stay focused. Easy, la. Say hello. Crackers and fireworks. Just like in the train.
Just wait. With bated breath.
Oh, don't worry. I have prepared it all. I have prepared it all. What's your race?
Good timing.
Copy that.
And he told me, and yeah, this it took me a while without my trusty Nala. Yeah, Nala would make this quicker.
The reticent woods are watching you.
Be serious. Stay focused.
What? Oh, there are 3 waves. I was like, damn, how longer do you want to keep me here?
Good timing.
Some flame with us.
The reticent woods are watching
Advice
you.
from the forest.
Go, go.
I weave the gown with thorns. You shall repay with sacrifice of wounds.
Just like in the train. Easy.
Good timing.
Oh, don't worry. I have prepared it all. I have prepared it all.
Just like the prophecies of the woods.
Let's take a step back.
Ooh.
Pull you out of that whirlwind of passion and dreams. If you want to make the best call, you need to zero in on what really matters. So what's your take on that big speech?
The Latin American boon.
A sudden explosion that shook Latin American literary circles about 30 years ago. It was destructive, but also gave rise to new life. Lucky for us, we don't have to worry about shell shock in the literary world.
You don't strike me as someone who knows about literature. Yeah, some of the fights here are much more about vibes and messaging than difficulty. I can see that. I appreciate that though. They kind of puts you in the setting of this whole thing, which is just very confusing and very like mind-boggling, but also you need to be thoughtful.
It's not about knowing literature. Any soldier with little experience can deliver a status report. Alright, eyes on the map.
Sure.
As we speak, ships are lined up on the Spanish coast. But this time, they're poised to make a new kind of discovery. If you can call it that. And here are our new Columbuses, heading to the docks to embark on their journey.
Who are the new Columbuses? Are we the new Columbuses, or are these writers?
Carmen and Carlos, the driving force behind this literary feast between Spain and Latin America. Carmen, with an eye for opportunity and a mind for business, sought out the continent's literary gems and secured generous publishing deals for them. Carlos, with his deep understanding of market dynamics, brought these works to the eyes of the European public.
What happened then?
Then, a golden era began. It all kicked off with a scandal at a military academy. And soon, the entire world was captivated by the story of a baby with a pig's tail from a faraway land.
Baby with the pig's tail.
But we mustn't forget the writers themselves. Fuentes, a towering figure of the Spanish-speaking world, and Cortázar, the writer ever seeing through the eyes of a child.
I feel that a lot of this has a lot of like symbolisms and references that's going way over my head. Highbrow type of like writing for a game.
And of course, Mario and Gabo, key players in this literary revolution, will forever be etched in the annals of history. They corresponded regularly, always expressing deep admiration for each other's work. In fact, one even wrote a doctoral thesis on the other.
Hi, how is it going? Hello, the first code. How are you doing? I am doing swimmingly, experiencing Folie Deraison for the first time for real. The writing on this one is, I mean, Mopot went over with the amount of just literary references and knowledge on this. So I am good. I'm just trying to piece everything together. I feel like this is going to be on one of the tougher chapters for me to get through, just because there's a lot of thought behind this, and I want to try to experience the best way of this whole chapter. I don't feel I'm gonna be the person that can actually absorb everything and get it.
Friendship.
That must have been a proud time for them.
It was. But no matter how explosive the boom was, it couldn't escape its fleeting nature. With the second imprisonment and self-criticism of a Cuban poet, in came an inexplicable right hook.
But of
Bang.
course they did.
Silence.
Sorry to ask, do you have Discord, or are you, would you really be interested in going to our Discord, and sharing maybe the link over there, so other people can actually take a look on it? If not, can you send it here over on the chat if you have the link for it, the whole Reddit essay? Because that would be very cool for me to read afterwards. But again, don't feel pressured.
The military junta had gripped the poets' throats. The verse of the pioneers was cut off, their voices no longer heard. The bond between two generations was broken, and for the younger of the two, the silence was intolerable.
Story was good for me. Still, I skipped some literature parts. There's a story about Scambanner, 60 roles, Italy, Portrait, and Lepera. 60 roles in Italy, Portrait, and Lepera. So I believe you already have Recoleta then, right? Because I don't think you would pull in the Scambanner without pulling for Recoleta first. So you got Anne and Lee's Portrait. I'm sorry that you didn't get Willow instead. I don't know if you already have Willow, but yeah, at least you got two characters, two 6 stars, so it's better than anything for 60 pools.
They looked for a new theme, a new idea, a new voice, a new method to speak on their disappointment, their horror, and their anger. And they became the new gorillas.
Oh, but yeah, the literary part can be a little dense if most of the references get over your head, and I think is what gonna happen to me. I appreciate that someone actually wrote an essay about this, because really is going to clear my mind. Yeah, Zirculata helped me at Reveries 400. She carried well. Yes, I feel like a lot of people are using her to just push some Reveries. Towering walls, prisoners deep into the abyss paint pictures of the sky. I keep saying that for me, Recoleta is like a new, it's a new high for a reverse when it comes to just power. Pushing the character limit to the extreme with this one. Huh. She is good at New Limbo. I'm really eager to play New Limbo. I want to get through this whole story, and then I'll dig into everything else. I don't have a lose too. I want to Lepera more. Lepera's good. I feel like Lepera works on many teams right now, especially with the newer units that are coming out. Lepera is finding herself into many teams. Willow is good, but again, is only a poison character, so she fits only on one gimmick. So I can see. New Limbo is very easy with Nala and Impromptu, I feel. Oh, I cannot wait for Olive talking about Impromptu. I read in the article once that you Chileans don't like Baroque literature. Something about it being too noisy. You sure are a quiet bunch. You don't need max level for Lizardscape, but certainly end the game. Nice. I'm eager to actually delve into that as soon as I'm done with this. Is that so? And you Argentinians just love it, right? If you're any metric to go by, I would say you're all loud and obnoxious. Just because the idealist isn't here, you think you can turn this salon into a debate hall? You started it. Enough! Stop squabbling and post your work so we can read it. If you ask me, you were simply more interested in rhythm than form. Spanish is a rich language, and that is inherently expressive, ever-changing, and artistic, much like Baroque literature. The typical quiet man's words douse the argument like a cold splash of water, sending the group into a rare moment of calm. Ha! Our jokes aside, I do miss them. Ever since those mad members left La Sociedad, we had far fewer breakthroughs in stream of consciousness writing. I, for one, would gladly discuss the aesthetic value of stream of consciousness composition. As this new topic surfaces, the inmates' voices begin to rise once again. This version of Limbo is all about AoE. If you can spam, you are fine. Oh, then that's why Benito was talking about Impromptu and Nala. Both teams have incredible AoE potence. Also, Recoleta. It was a most unusual literary salon, full of emotionally charged statements and biased opinions. But I didn't mind it. In fact, my feeling was quite the opposite. The inmates give me an incredible feeling. No one of them saw themselves as a prisoner stripped of their freedom. A group of literature enthusiasts coming together in an abandoned prison and collaborating to build an ideal nation. It felt as though it was the result of some kind of pact, but in reality it was clearly a government-run prison. Yeah, Lucy and Nala was very fun. I'm going to straight up skip the whole wave, I imagine. Everyone quiet down, I have something to announce. An unfamiliar voice cuts off the clacking off the clacking typewriter in Dora's mind. A woman walks out from the far end of the darkness and steps into the center of the salon, stopping before the whiteboard and podium.
Mr. Idealist entrusted me with hosting the literature salon.
Finally on my train in my seat. Finally on the train in my seat. Nice! Have a safe travel, Steffi. I hope it's gonna be very fun for you. For this session, I will now announce our next research topic.
Fiction's duality in reflecting reality and the self.
I mean, this is so complicated. If someone say you have to write an essay about fiction's duality in reflecting reality and the self, I'll be like, what? Can you explain that further for me? Heavy gasps turn heads and uproar spreads through the audience. Clearly, this wasn't the topic they were expecting. She raises the letter in her hand in a gesture for silence.
Like-minded fellows, aspiring writers.
Since the turn of the century, the names that once shook the literary world have gradually faded in obscurity.
Literature's been shoved aside in the world of art.
People attend theaters, cinemas, and even art galleries to enjoy paintings and sculptures, but few can finish a book. It would be exhausting, but I enjoy it. Languages were always my favorites in school. Language is very fun, and I appreciate languages overall. I'm also a big fan of it. I think I spoke a bit about languages overall whenever I was talking to Sandy, because Sandy is also an appreciator of languages. But it's so complicated when it comes to the complicated words and their meanings, I would say.
What is left for us to do?
When families are torn apart and our nations are ravaged by tyranny,
let stories be our weapon. They should be the sword that cuts through the bloody truth, the beacon that lights our way forward.
Like, I appreciate her words here, Octavius, because I wholeheartedly agree that writing and reading is something very overlooked right now. Yes, Steffi is taking a 3-hour train to, from Orlando to Miami, as you just said it. The audience falls into silence. You could try writing a Latin American war and peace, and we could continue with it with our original Salon topic. The two are mutually exclusive. I spent the whole month preparing for the topic the idealist previously proposed. If you insist on changing the subject, then I'm afraid I'll have to take my leave. Miss Octavia, forgive me for interrupting, but this isn't the topic we agreed on. Everything you said, we just can't do that. We haven't even figured out things for ourselves yet. Lisbon is an amazing city. I've been it long time ago. Cool. I hope one day I can visit Lisbon since I live in Brazil. It's kind of an easy place for me to go since the language is not too different. Octavia, it is an interesting topic, it is, but perhaps we can talk about it another time. Besides, don't forget the reason you're in here in the first place, for preaching that the novel is a weapon. Yeah, if it weren't for your rich daddy, you'd be on the gallows, not standing here preaching to us.
Hey!
Another prisoner stands, his voice clear. You've completely missed Miss Octavia's point. A great writer should be an obsessive gravedigger, digging up the rotting flesh of social realism from the grave of our times. Only in this vast crucible it is worth it to be the host of our literature. At that time, Mr. Garcia looked visibly resistant, and Mr. Julio issued stern reminders, and Miss Roberta attempted to mediate. More and more members joined in the debate, and voices both for and against Miss Octavia's proposal emerged. It didn't take long for La Sociedad to split into two camps. That was when I realized I needed to do something to get this derailed literature salon back on the tracks. It is, but we'll be in the countryside of the Silver Coast near Nazareth, where they have 100-foot waves. It's considered the capital of surfing. Oh, that's nice.
I'm a writer.
Please.
And I mostly write under the name Erd.
Please, allow me to introduce myself. I am Doris from São Paulo. I am a writer, and I mostly write under the name Erd.
Erd?
The name sounds familiar.
Have you written for Atu? Are you the Erd in Atu?
I never imagined we'd be welcoming such an honored guest today. I thoroughly enjoy your piece titled The Tin Soldiers of São Paulo.
It's an important part of my visit to hear all the ideas and opinions, if you'll pardon my intrusion.
Then, tell me, Miss Erd, what are your thoughts on today's salon topic? A difficult question, one involving preference, a creative stance, and a political alignment. Especially that traveling from Rio de Janeiro to San Francisco joke. Is that a joke? About traveling from Rio de Janeiro to San Francisco? Sorry, I'm out of the loop. A scale that is never easily balanced. However, the answer has never been the most important part of the question.
In these restless times, literature has been overlooked, forgotten, pushed to the edges of the world, much like Ushuaia.
Some fall into deep thought, others nod in agreement, and a few look puzzled. The audience is largely unaware that the topic has already shifted. To most, this prison at the end of the world is a distant, cold place, perhaps even a place of hopelessness. When a prisoner is first sent here, I cannot help but imagine that the first thing they feel is a stagnant pool of water and a calm, quiet despair. She seizes this chance to guide the literary salon back from the muddy trenches of ideology. She recalls the days of typing while looking out over the river, both in a palm tree. Words are honest. They have no capacity to lie. I came here to gather material for my next book. I plan to record everything I experience in this place, faithfully. And what kind of work are you planning to write? A non-fiction piece, I presume? About Kamala Prison? Its theme, its fate. The statue in Lisbon is similar to the Rio one, and the bridge is similar to San Francisco. So people usually ask Lisboa people about traveling. Oh, okay. I think I get it. Fate, like Fate series? I love Fate series. Oh, cool. Shadows of the Living. Metallic sheen, rippling water, and shadows that peer back from within the dim reflection. I hope that that eventually turns out to be like a real thing. Fate in Heaven Burns Red.
La investigadora se despierta en su cueva en la duna, que le parecía tan vacía como una tumba. Era poco antes del amanecer. Montones de cintas habían ocupado su espacio vital, apilándose una y otra vez. Cada uno de estos carretes giratorios hablaba de historias sobre esa cabaña con techo azul. Oyó la voz del asesinado conductor de burros detrás de ella. Oigo a todos ellos, las risas y las voces de generaciones pasadas, como hojas secas atrapadas en las grietas de viejas paredes, crujiendo solo cuando el viento sopla otra vez. No pondría un pie en esa casa si fuera tú. El mendigo al lado de la puerta también habló. Duermo en el porche cada noche. Cada mañana una luz tenue brilla a través de la ventana, pero nadie sale nunca por esa puerta. Y nadie ha entrado nunca. Luego la voz del empleado del banco. Es la historia del alter ego. Esa casa debe haber estado llena de deudas que nadie reclamaría. La anciana enferma, luchando en su cama, susurró. La casa recuerda esos días, cuando la gente desaparecía en la oscuridad de la noche y los niños eran robados por las tormentas. La investigadora de paracausalidad había oído suficiente y volvió a dormirse. Solo quedaba el traqueteo del dado de Babilonia, resonando en su cueva vacía.
Sorry, I need to stop whenever those parts start to happen, because the writing and the dialogue is so dense and complicated for me that if I do not pay attention wholeheartedly, I might as well just not pay attention at all. I've decided to pull for Aleph. That's great. Aleph is a great character and really propels. Aleph is the flutter page for Impromptu. Also, spoiler alert, there's 20 stages like the traditional reverse stage making. Yes, I thought so. I mean, we all have Matilda, don't we? I don't have her. I want an in character in my roster. I have Voyager. Okay, you're somewhat there. It's hard for Impromptu to work without Barcarola, but Voyager and Aleph are good enough by themselves, I guess. Especially if you do have Barcarola's Psycube. Even though if you might not have Barcarola herself, but if you have her Psycube, that's good enough.
I've always wanted to use the element of fantasy to better establish our theme. And I was right. Now the stage is captivating, the timing is perfect, and the audience is ideally placed. Only one imperfect element remains in the scene. The creator, who hasn't stepped away from his creation.
Yeah, 100%. Voyager, without Voyager, it's hard for you to pinpoint the boss. Or a key target. So I agree that Voyager is also very much needed.
No. There's another thing.
And Regulus whenever she eventually gets her euphoria. Not true. Voyager can silence on her own. Sometimes it's not about DPS. We're talking about Voyager's euphoria allows her to target the impromptu hits to one target. So it's always gonna hit a certain target, because without it they hit random targets. I think that's what Drag is mentioning. I was about to say, hear me out, Garcia, but I don't think it's that much of a hear me out. Yeah. Garcia, the curator of the exhibition, stands beneath his work, deep in thought, agonizing over every minute of imperfection. Voyager, by herself, is already putting in work. If Matilda got her portraits already, she already get more usage outside of the roguelike. Yeah. Yeah, you can do Matilda, Voyager, and Olive without Barcarola, only with her side cube, and that's good enough, I believe. Barcarola will add more DPS to it instead of Matilda, but it still can work regardless. Hear me out, 620 logs, that's a lot. Now that's more understandable, hear me out. Yeah. Hear me out, not being broken. Hear me out. In your death. That would be silly. There wouldn't be much to be hearing out. His fellow poets whisper to one another.
Can you even tell any difference between today's setup and yesterday's?
Seriously, Roberta? That's a rude question.
Wait.
Well, what's the difference then?
Is this guy with the madness because of the black ink? Purple?
Can't
Blue
see
ink?
one either, but you should never judge art by how much it changes in a day. It's a creative process. We might be standing at the edge of the world, but art has no boundaries. We have to show him our support.
Easy for you to say. He's been tinkering and tweaking for over 3 months. Even if the idealist himself entrusted him with this exhibition, he can still be wrong sometimes. This gallery...
Estoy viendo fantasmas, todos con las mismas caras, Garcia. Demasiados.
Right, it looks like diggers. I didn't want to mention it, but I was just thinking, kind of looks like diggers. Wait, is that diggers for real? I thought it could be diggers. Like, is that one character actually diggers? No, I don't know much about diggers. I have yet to do the theft of the Rimmet Cup. And I haven't done his anecdote either. So I don't know much about diggers. That's Digger with Mena's outfit. He was a Menace Vindicte member for a while. So this was Diggers whenever he was a Menace Vindicte? Menace Vindicte character. Cool. Having navigated through the labyrinth, the idealist, the leader of La Sociedad, arrives at the exhibit's entrance, accompanied by several new faces and the jailer.
Idealist, you're back. Are these new recruits for La Sociedad? You must have had a very successful day.
Digger's making an appearance in the main story without revealing himself to us.
It is good to see you, Garcia. How has your vision progressed today?
That's pretty cool.
First a salon, and now an art gallery. Is this really a prison?
Again, Digger's name has been kind of popping off on stream lately. I don't want to know anything about this guy. Other than that, he should have the same amount of hate as Constantine. I wouldn't put it past Blue Potch to make Diggers a reoccurring comic relief. That's basically how he was introduced in the Rimmet Cup, cause I fucking hate him. Yes, Draghi has very strong feelings towards Diggers. Her shock is evident on her face, but her words are ignored as Garcia begins to vent his frustrations.
As you can see, I've strived to push the element of fantasy in my work so that it might reach perfection. But why doesn't it look like what I imagine? It's like I'm trying to work on a shadow. Some shapeless thing that morphs and shifts by the hour. Idealist, am I losing it again?
I really
took my medicine as instructed.
I really enjoyed the little pieces of paper, I guess, being held by strings. Because this is kind of like a shapeless thing, but still so fascinating to see. I haven't finished 1.1, so I still don't know why people hate him so much, lol. Yes, I still have yet to do the Remit Cup and his anecdote, so I don't know much about Diggers, but the more people talk about it, the more interesting I get.
It was
Interested.
never the pills
Sorry.
that blinded you, my dear Garcia. You mustn't let tedious routine stifle what's truly alive. Remember, like those old poets, your exhibition must have a timeless rhythm that's never lost to the changing of minds.
Garcia holds out his hands as if grasping something fleeting, but fails to hold on to it.
Sorry, maybe I'm just not getting it.
Look out. There's your answer. Though the sun rises the same way every day, the multitudes of shadows it casts are ever changing. Isn't that the only constant in life?
Change. I'm gonna just take a print screen of this. Because someone also... I know that this is a very popular quote. Isn't that the only constant in life, change?
We foolishly
But it's pretty
pursue
cool
stability
still
and
to see.
constancy, but our very world denies it. Take a step back, take several, and see the truth for yourself, lest you too become lost among the shifting shadows.
I get it now. It's the changing light that makes the exhibit seem different from what I expected. I shouldn't waste my time on freezing things in one perfect moment. Instead, I need to embrace change as it comes. I don't know how to thank you. I won't let you down. I must complete this exhibition. Complete my alter ego.
Alter ego. Sorry, it just makes me think about the Doechi song. That's silly. The choice of word widened the writer's eyes.
Did you say alter ego? And he called you Garcia. Is that your name? Garcia, where did you learn about this alter ego? Do you happen to write under the name...
No, but the curator has already returned to his work, uninterested or oblivious to his visitors.
Please, Recoleta, give our artist some space. Can't you see? He's already returned to his own time and space. He can't hear a thing you say.
He's right. Garcia is deep in his own head now. He won't hear a thing until he's done with whatever he has to do. Even if the floor were to collapse out under us, I think he will be left standing in the air without even noticing.
Pardon me then.
He takes a step back out of respect.
All right, my dear guests, please forgive my late introduction. Welcome to the Gallery of Bewilderment.
Again, there goes the glitching again. I'm trying to see a pattern to when those things happen, but I still can't. Fun fact about Diggers, his arcane skill is about blowing bubbles that reflect lights and have distinct smells. It makes anyone, and I mean anyone who's not immune to his arcane skill or just humans, goes high. So that's why the bubbles. So it's just like hallucinogenic bubbles? Cool.
Thank you for inviting me here, Mr. Idealist.
The Foundation's investigators have been carefully observing each prisoner's movements since they arrived, but unfortunately there is no sign of Miss Doris.
I imagine you're curious about what we do here, in the heart of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas.
Right? I agree.
We're putting together a magazine, a collection of poems from Kamala, our very own Casa de las Americas.
¿Casa de las Américas?
The Idealist nods with a smile.
Exactly. Named after its great predecessor. You're a fine mind indeed. At this very moment, all our compañeros are working on it. Garcia's exhibition, Alter Ego, is centered around the birth of this magazine. And here, you can see the signatures from all the poets involved, along with a few words they've written for it. Reading it is like looking into the soul of our society.
All these signatures.
Tonito steps forward to examine the perplexing artwork. In the dim light, the enormous face appears to be looming watchfully over the entire room. Because clearly those things of paper being held by like wires, those things reminded me of those shadow sculptures. If you see the whole thing just by looking at it, you don't get the whole thing. But if you look at the shadows that is casted, you see something different. It completely goes with the idealist version of something ever changing. Do not focus on what you're actually seeing, focus on the ever changing shadows. Or basically a free escape card, example, robbing a bank. Like imagine your friend needs that Zaza, but they ran out and need something quick now, and you just decided to blow some bubbles to make them high. That would be awesome.
Timekeeper, here. It's Dr. Doris' pseudonym, Erd.
Then she was here.
Nato pockets the slip of paper dutifully.
Precisely. She used to be one of us, and still is, if I may correct myself. You can ask around here. Maybe some of our members know where she went. Don't we all miss the familiar faces of old friends? I'm sure they'll do everything they can to help you find yours.
As he finishes speaking, several enthusiastic prisoners come forward to greet the idealist.
Mr. Idealist, I finished my short story. It's called Weightlessness. It drifts around the subject like a sheep floating in space. The readers can start anywhere in the story, or read it in any order they like.
And please take a look at my piece Off Limits! Every word that has been forbidden is either erased or replaced with symbols. It's a one-of-a-kind jarring experience!
It's a one-of-a-kind jarring experience. I like that.
And I finished a new paragraph. Just wrote it today.
A whole paragraph. Crazy. If only he understood how to actually use his arcane skill. There's a gif of Diggers doing his defeated animation with the caption, War and Hate, being the opposite of his motto, Love and Peace. It's fucking funny. I imagined. A prisoner, wrapped in several meters of manuscript paper like a strange sort of mummy, squeezes into the crowd.
Oh, new faces. Welcome.
Without any warning, he calmly tears the manuscript to shreds. The fluttering fragments fall like trailing sparks from the fireworks show. The abrupt welcome ceremony leaves the newcomers stunned, while the natives share knowing smiles.
Idealist, did he just...
This is the writer for the prologue of our magazine.
The leader of La Sociedad, either misunderstanding or evading the question, responds with enthusiasm.
The prologue consists of a 2,000-line poem and an introduction that is written in 86 languages to avoid misinterpretation. It represents every second we spend here.
2,000 lines that was written in 68 languages. That's crazy.
Naturally, the arrival of new members disrupts its structure, and so we must begin again from scratch.
So every time someone new appears, they need to write it all again. That's crazy.
So he just tore it all up like that because he thought we were joining? With all due respect, isn't this a little excessive? Heaven knows I'm not one to judge. I've torn up plenty of writing for my novel.
Also, a new reverse idea if we're in and out of stuff to do. Judging others' suitcase Spotify. That's so specifically. It's so specific.
Please, pay it no mind. It may not be an easy task.
I'll take a note whenever we're actually ran out of absolutely everything else.
Destruction is hard, but more necessary than you think. Without it, we'd all be stuck in a still and stagnant pond, with all the smells that entail.
This all sounds very complicated. When will your magazine be finished then?
Never.
Forgive me, but I'm not sure what a floating sheet, a jarring reading experience, and all this constant rewriting are meant to express.
The ever-changing aspect of humans. I imagine, like the one I sent the gacha gaming channel. We judge other people in music, with people's taste in music on which OST they favorited in the jukebox. Okay, I mean, yes, if they actually spend time favoring something on their jukebox, sure, I guess. I'm not very much one to judge other people's music taste. I find that thing a little annoying, in my personal humble opinion. I feel like everybody has their own music taste, and that's just what it is. But again, if I completely ran out of everything, I guess I can just take a look. The jailer, having remained silent, takes a deep breath and interrupts.
As I've said, Komala is unlike any other prison.
It sounds crazy, but it makes sense for their situation. As far as they know, they have their whole lives to dedicate to... Yeah, exactly. So if someone else has come, it doesn't matter too much. They can just tear it all down and piece it back up. Or even more fun thing to do, account review. Yeah, I can do that. That could be fun. See where people's ideas lie. I think I find that more interesting, actually. You can see a lot about someone, about the way that they pull for stuff. And again, as someone that does different types of pulling every time I play a new gacha game, that's pretty fun.
Miss Jailer, do you mean...
This place also serves as a research center. And the prisoners here, for all they claim, are not just poets. They are arcanist criminals, and each one of them has been diagnosed as mentally ill.
Plot twist. Who could have imagined? The leader of La Sociedad remains composed like an island in a rough sea, leaving the onlookers to question whether he's entirely mad or the sanest of them all.
You're quite right, jailer. But let's not forget that mental illness is merely a deviation from the norm. And who decides the norm? You, the physician, or the ones outside these walls?
I agree with my guy here. Again, for me, a good example of seeing the everything while being still judged as mad is from the Sandman novels, Delirium. If anyone here is aware about the Sandman novels, the comic books from Neil Gaiman, Delirium is one of the characters. She's one of the Eternals. They are known as being completely insane and off the knockers, but Delirium is aware of literally everything. But their way of expressing everything is so out there, they're just deemed as mad. If they have Jessica, Isolde, and Tuesday, we know what type of women they like. Yes. Is the very dangerous, most likely step on me? Yes. Most likely off their knockers. Or, like my guy idealist would say, it's just a merely deviation from the norm.
We've been exiled here by the standards of our time, deprived of our roles in the outside world. So please, as we agreed before, I ask you not to interfere with the affairs of La Sociedad.
These people are visitors, not your new recruits.
But should we not hear their thoughts first?
The idealist turns towards the visitors with an urgent plea.
My friends, no one escapes the eye of power. We must resist. Stand with us. Pick up your pen and take poetry as your shield before it is too late.
Idealist, I admire your fight, but I came here with a different goal.
Yes, dedication to the end. It's just not very specified whose end. The leader of La Sociedad, caught in his fervor, ignores her words and carries on.
We're the last true owners of an old legend, words now only remembered as myth. We must stay on the path of literature until I find that transcendental solution. To invent an idiom that is generic, all-encompassing, yet precise. My poem will be written in this language, leaving no room for doubt or misinterpretation. How blessed is a man with infallible memory. He holds the finer details of each object within him, more vivid than anyone else. In the end, he'll have all the answers, if time allows him.
Red flag? Nah, babe, I'm colorblind. Yes, that's a good one. A dreamlike expression crosses his face. It briefly seems as if he has become an entirely different person, but his vision is so interrupted.
Sweet tongue, sister, howls, hermaphrodite, tango. They put the whole city in the nut house.
Timekeeper, look over there.
Isn't that the prologue writer?
There's something off about him. Please, Timekeeper, stay away from him.
What's happening?
Idealist, Pablo's having another episode.
Multiples of us. You make reality sick.
A flash of arcane energy flares up, and the jailer steps into the crowd reactively.
I could use your help, ladies.
Yes, let's subdue the guy. Ooh! Barcarola!
En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más. En todos los momentos.
Stars.
Right.
The melodies of winds and waves.
Cosmología, filosofía clásica, el fundamento del mundo.
Yes. Great.
The frenzied prisoner is subdued. He lies convulsing in the center of the exhibit hall.
Poor soul. I'll bring him to bed. Well done, ladies. Aren't you full of surprises?
What was all that?
It seems he had a mental breakdown and lost control of his arcane skill. It appears that every line he recited carried unbridled power.
Usually, only specific lines can channel arcane energy. You can't just force the power into words or craft a poem to serve your purpose. Pablo must have a rare gift for identifying empowered lines. When he recited them all aloud, they overwhelmed him.
That's right. He's a genius who writes the ties of emotion, just like Arthur Rimbaud.
I wouldn't know, I don't have her.
We always keep a close eye on him to make sure he doesn't recite anything while reading or writing.
Rebecca trade glances between the tense jailer and her visitors. I want them crazy. Oh, so, like, Crazy for you, crazy for love, or crazy for no, I just want them mentally stable. Guys, does not romanticize the instabilities of the mind. Come on, the both of you.
But sometimes things slip through.
You must understand how difficult it is for a poet to never taste the words on his own lips.
So then, this isn't the first time, and you're all fully aware of it. Do I understand you right? Did you just admit that you've been hiding an inmate with a dangerous condition from us?
Mental asylum? You mean that 1 5-star hotel? Oh, damn. Do you mean Tuesday's Motel? Jailer, hello! Welcome, Princess Gainsborough. How are you doing? Hello, Steffi. Glad that you're still here.
According to the safety regulations for the Panopticon of Kamala, he must be sent to the physician for immediate treatment.
How are you doing? Have you already got done with chapter 9? I'm doing swimmingly, trying to really piece together everything in this. Again, the writing on this one chapter is very complicated to follow through. I'm trying my best. The jailer's command causes a dramatic shift in the room.
No, wait, we can explain.
Which chapter that is? Oh. My chapters makes me feel right at home at Kamala Prison. I want Jailer to be playable. Yes, Jailer I think would be a very cool character. But again, apparently China does not care too much about animal-like characters. Apparently apparently Pickles is one of the most disliked characters over there. Okay, come on. I am not.
He's doing fine. We know how to help him. This was just an accident. We got distracted by the new members.
Yeah, apparently so.
We won't be handing him over to the physician.
Animals are awesome. Meanwhile, Arknights is a playable 5-star cat. We have a playable 6-star dog. Come on.
No true writer would allow their mind, the most sacred palace of their thoughts, to be opened up to that cold-hearted, ignorant butcher.
It went women, not fun
Even one
wacky
who believes
characters.
their inspiration flows from a source beyond the mere substance of a brain would refuse it.
Well, they want women. That means the thing is, the closest thing most of the Chinese players are gonna get to women is characters in a video game. And let's be real. It matters, mature subject matters. Another, it can really hit you out of nowhere. I've been avoiding Isolde's character story because of... Oh, okay, I'm so sorry. I mean, if it does trigger something on you, you should avoid it and know what makes you feel right and wrong. And I appreciate that you actually have the knowledge of yourself to put yourself out of like a possibly triggering situation altogether. But it's not really to Isolde's, because you know Isolde's family are plagued with this arcane illnesses because of their own arcane power. But I can see that. And Reverse does dabble a lot into very mature themes. Not very much, so because it's still like a gacha game to some point, but I feel with especially with this chapter, it's so dense and complicated that I think a lot of people will not truly appreciate for all it's worth, because it's just very complicated for you to get all the meaning and thoughtful thought that went behind this. Yes, right, but he is a squirrel. I love how so many gacha games them have their own. Come on, guys. He's a fat. He's the fat ducking squirrel. Yes, very adorable with a lot of damage. The jailer furrows her brows and pulls out her weapon. The air tightens into an invisible thread. But by the way, Dan, I appreciate you sharing a couple of stuff they go through. I mean, and other people probably feel the same way. Yeah, you do so much damage established for sure. I love so many gacha games. Yep, we just never called them fat ducking until now. Right. And they are not fat. They're just chubby. We can call him Chubby Fairchild. How about that? A women's documentation of a blind society. Even though they refuse to discuss the outside world, spending even a few days inside the prison makes clear that the reason they are here is precisely what they avoid speaking about. Ushuaia is a coast town on the tip of Argentina's southernmost territory. The polar night, the frozen sea, the proximity to Antarctica, the endless winter, it all makes the place seem buried by time and forgotten. It possesses all the necessary qualities of a prison, making it an ideal place to send arcanists suspects diagnosed with mental illness, a place to be forgotten. Setting aside the true definition of madness and their status as prisoners, what I see in this prison are former poets, writers, social activists. In their era, some spoke of poetry, then disappeared from society from owning a book by Jean-Paul Sartre. Some incited grassroots rebellions against hierarchical structures, only to be exiled. They were repeatedly questioned, why do you read these books? Why do you write these poems? Why are they were branded thought organizers and eventually sent here to partake in an experiment conducted under the name of Foucault and psychoanalysis. It is nearly impossible to determine whether their madness was defined by society because they resisted order, or if it was introduced through relentless electric shocks and torture. Perhaps all these reasons are one and the same. This reason is often avoided, sanitized, or ignored because deep down we all know how deeply it is woven into the fabric of our lives. At first they said nothing, but this very act of deliberate avoidance is what truly conveyed their grief and fear. That's again, the writing on this chapter is so not only thought-provoking but tough to just think. No, fat duck, buddy, fat duck child. If it sits on a chair, the chair would fling into the sky instead of breaking the normal way. If he plunges to the ground, he'll dig a hole to China. That's why he needs to walk on ice, because the ice can handle his fluffiness. Breakfast does not exist for a buddy fat duck, cause he never fasts. Guys, are you both trying to win a race to see who gets time out first? Because I'm feeling very generous today. Stop saying something about little Buddy. You know what Buddy is? Way better than the crippled woman. Rust fills the air. An exiled bird has found a branch to rest upon. I win.
Fate. Yes.
Okay, sure.
It looms over us, yet each of us may hold the power to steer its course.
Oh, Verneto. I see you in a few, Verneto. We call dish out the crippled woman. I want her wheelchair. We can dish out. Damn! Come on, Draggy. I thought you liked her more. Just like this nation of contradictions, its fate should also be. In that case, shall we officially begin this salon? The ever-observant Roberta, noticing the tears welling in Octavia's eyes, cuts her off. Would anyone like to share a story on this topic? Whether it's a personal experience or a written tale, let's bring some life to the salon. Well, if no one has anything to say, I could always retell the story of my faithful journey across the Mexican border. And someone's like, come on, Roberta, again? Thank you. I will moisturize my inside. That's something that I do need. Because I've been talking a lot. A chair screeches as one man stands. All eyes fall on his face, shadowed by his heavy brow and sharp cheekbones. Ooh. Remember to drink so one day Apple has Folie. That would be amazing. We need Apple Alter version where Apple is a 6-star full-grown orchard. An unexpected twist. No one noticed him quietly sitting at the edge of the crowd until now. I spent the first half of my life as a bank clerk. One day, sitting behind that glass window, staring at the endless stacks of checks, papers, and flyers, it hit me. I was serving a life of sentence. So I quit, went home, and decided to write something. My wife threw a fit at first, but then I wouldn't budge. A code war broke out between us, and then finally she issued an unilateral eviction notice. I got drunk, punched the bastard officer who was beating a beggar in the street, and everything after that was a blur. When I come to, I was already here, a place that feels more like home than any other place I've ever did. The idealist gave me some water and suggests I write to Aleph. So I did. I wrote a letter and asked a question. 2 weeks later, I got a reply. Just one line. I'm still trying to figure out what it means. In the short span of life, there exists an infinitely standing staircase, and at its end lies nothing but a silent body of water. Julio, I had no idea you had such a story. Why haven't you mentioned it before?
I didn't know you've written to Aleph too.
A 6-star apple would be a floating apple tree who uses himself to smack the enemy. I can imagine that. Octavia, maybe you did choose the right topic. Young, passionate writers like you should carry the dream of changing society. Don't end up like me, waiting until this age to finally pick up the pen. Oh. The hostess, fully engrossed in the story, has almost forgotten all about the topic. Right. I suppose it's my turn then. So here's my tale of crossing the Mexican border. Nobody cares. For heaven's sake, spare us. I've heard at least 7 or 8 versions of this story already. Not to mention the 5 short stories in your collection. 5 stories, Roberta. 5! And the only difference between them is a narrative perspective. Repetitive narrative is indeed an important topic in literary criticism. The remainder of the salon is spent in noisy chatter as the storytelling quickly spirals out of control. Only Dr. Doris quietly repeats that name to herself.
Aleph.
I mean, I must agree with the guy. Retelling the story and writing about the same story with different narrative perspectives 5 times feels like what? we're talking about Monogatari here. Mr. Julio's past was an unexpected gold nugget, the perfect material for a biography. I treated it with care in my next submission. But I find it fascinating, by the way, retelling the same story through different narrative perspectives. It's like you're really digging through all the gold in some good story. It's like an isekai. It's like ReZero, whenever Subaru dies, and we see more about the same event that happened within that day. By then, I had nearly forgotten I was still in prison. I had been stepped up in the literary salon. I resolved to record all that I witnessed in this prison. As to whether the inhabitants are truly prisoners, that will be for the readers to decide. At the time, I did not ask how they found their way into this prison. Like them, I was thinking of purer things. Looking back on this journey, I now see that the tangled strands of Las Babas del Diablo has formed into interconnected web. I'm working through ReZero Season 3 right now. ReZero is so good. Again, whenever it comes, like, someone can, because that really harkens to me. Like the guy annoyed with the Roberto for just basically retelling the same thing from 5 different perspectives. But that's really what ReZero does. Subaru dies, and you re-see Subaru going through the same day through different POVs. Sometimes it's just not Subaru, it's just another bystander, another side character. And it's so interesting how much story can you actually squeeze through from one day in a very colorful place. For me, ReZero has one of the best storytellings in isekai history. It's actually very, very good. And I highly suggest people to take a look at it because it's very, very nice. Very fun. Good story, great music, awesome characters. Subaru himself can be a little something. It's not always interesting, but the story itself it is. Just as Salon gets into full swing, a face emerges from the shadows, only the smile clearly visible. I'm very picky with it. I'm not. Actually, believe it or not, I do watch everything. I find it easier for me to discern what I like and what I don't like if I have a very big way of measuring stuff. But I completely get you. And I watch many isekai, so I can say for certain whenever I like something, or like something's mid or bad. Also, I would love to hear more what other isekais you like besides ReZero. A bridge between reality and unreality, the poetry of the typical and the atypical. This is exactly how I envisioned La Sociedad de Poeta de las Americas when I founded it. The new arrival catches her attention. Reality and unreality. I'm referring to the difference between non-fiction and fiction. I'm afraid I haven't quite grasped your full meaning. Ah, but you understood at least part of it, didn't you? That alone proves we're walking the same path, an unwavering pursuit of aesthetic truth. We are citizens of the literary kingdom, stargazers chasing the first light to reach the shores of the new world, children crying beneath the tree of pure ideals. As its founder, I sincerely invite you to join La Sociedad Poeta de las Americas and become one of us. Join La Sociedad Poeta de las Americas? A gentlemanly bow, an invitation that is hard to refuse. Everything here carries an air of mystery. The literary gathering, the strange architecture, the enigmatic recipient of all those letters. A rare opportunity.
I'm truly flattered by your invitation. I'd be delighted to join the Poetry Society. But might I trouble you with one question, Mr. Idealist?
You call yourself the founder, so I assume you are the idealist, yes? Let's go away. Could you tell me about Aleph? The wrong way to use healing magic is what I like. The wrong way to use healing magic is the one that's going on currently now. Is that an isekai? Is that about the guy that has the elf girl and the ghost race and the orc and the cat girl, and he works as a healer? Or am I thinking about another one? Passion and delirium. Open your eyes to see the night. Close them to see the light.
This is a serious violation of the rules. I'll have to report this to the physician, and all of your treatments will need to be reassessed. Until a new treatment plan is in place, all members of La Sociedad are confined to their cells without any of their usual privileges.
The jailer heavily emphasizes La Sociedad, triggering a commotion among the prisoners.
This is not what we agreed to.
You gave us your word! Affairs within La Sociedad were not to be disturbed!
Please, don't do this. Please, he doesn't deserve this. No one does. We don't want to lose our friend.
The previously convulsing prisoner struggled to his feet.
Please, Senora. I swear it won't happen again. I'll take the medicine on time as instructed. I promise I won't hurt anyone.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pablo, but rules are rules.
Before you take this poor man from his friends, may I ask you something? Do you know where these inmates go after they see the physician?
My duty is to keep order here. What happens beyond these walls is not my concern. Perhaps they've recovered from the physician's treatment and were returned to society.
The jailer's expression relaxes.
Within these walls, the only truth we know is this. No one returns from the clinic of the physician of Kamala. Are you certain this treatment they received is really a cure?
Pablo is harmless. He's just a writer who has a talent for finding words in poems. That's all.
Aww.
Please, let him stay. We'll look after him. He can have our share of the medicine. We'll keep him in check.
Like, I was not expecting these writers to be so nice with each other, or so, like, friends of each other to this point. But I guess I was seeing them in a different light.
But this doesn't conform to our regulations.
Still as arrogant as ever, idealist. One day, you'll get us all killed.
Oh, it's you. I'm glad to see you here.
Who is that?
That's Octavia, one of our model inmates. She's been a great help in the past. If you're interested in prison literature, I'd suggest talking to her instead of the...
So, she's a writer too? Who would have thought? This place has got writers coming out of the woodwork. I thought it would be easy to find my writer friend in a prison.
But what are the odds that I'd break into a place absolutely lousy with them?
She used to be in their gatherings, until she got tired of their nonsense and started her own faction.
The new arrival brings out a change in the idealist. Clicks his tongue imperceptibly.
What are you doing here, Octavia? Haven't you heard? The era of chieftains, ghosts, and plantation stories is over. Visceral realism is the future.
And has this brilliant visceral realism helped you finish any of these poems? What a waste of time.
Sick burn.
I'm not interested in your movement or arguing with you. I just walked by and happened to witness another episode of your brutal arrogance. And I'm not about to just stand aside and watch you repeat your mistakes. I'm taking Pablo to the physician. Care to lend a hand, Miss Jailer?
We agreed to mind our own business. Are you breaking our agreement? No one will be allowed to erase a word from our poems.
Old school rap battle incoming. I mean, rap poet rapping.
Haven't you let your ego cause enough trouble, idealist?
Wait, we're gonna fight against both of them?
Better that than siding with the devil like you.
Ooh.
Enough. This pointless arguing ends now.
I was just doing something for my mom. Again, because we're gonna start doing cake, I need to gather some stuff. Let's go. Easy da.
Good timing. Crickets and fireworks! Say hello!
Good timing.
Be serious. Stay focused.
Penetrate. No need to look back.
Say hello.
Can't ride anything if you're just frozen like petrified stone.
Stand down, both of you.
Their heated debate continues without any concern for the jailer's warning.
You've never listened. I pity your followers. To be led by such a reckless megalomaniac. Do you even think about the consequences of your actions? We fought hard to earn the freedom to discuss literature under their watch. Your impulsive ego threatens to destroy everything we've built here.
Spare me the lecture, Octavia. We don't need permission to do as we please. You're just another puppet of power, kneeling to the eyes behind those glass walls. They've trained you to believe it was your own decision, to be good and conform. Who could have done a better job? When I look at you, all I see is a sheep, docile and obedient, just the way the tower wants. What kind of work could someone like you create? Literature isn't defended by those lounging in cozy rooms, scribbling to soothing music.
I feel that I've just been burned by Deraison right now. I felt attacked by that, quite honestly, but sure.
Have you looked in a mirror, idealist? You've become a pathetic windmill-tilting fool. A monster tearing down everything around you.
Puppet of power, again, yes.
A beast of prey, you mean? Naturally, a sheep would be appalled by the mere thought of such a creature. A fearful sheep caught in a vine, confusing the blade that would set it free with the jaws of a lion.
Ooh. Sick burn.
Such a master of metaphor. But I beg you, learn to distinguish right from wrong, fantasy from reality. Only then can you truly lead our people toward what's right.
Distinguish right from wrong. Don't make me laugh. Is that the limit of your vision?
You...
I believe he won. Because you know that whenever someone gets speechless because they lost, he won. The impassioned leader jumps onto a nearby bench, striking out a dramatic pose before the crowd. He raises his arms and launches into a speech.
Friends, listen to me. There is no truer home to literature than a prison.
Oh. I mean, you could just say for the guy to quiet down. Sure, a blast of deafening sound, and all words fall from the air. The idealist's expression freezes. His eyes search down. An ominous shade of crimson seeps out.
No. No!
The horrified arcanist stumbled back, screaming.
Who did this? Hands behind your head and drop to your knees. All of you, now! This is your last warning.
The prisoners show no reaction to the jailer's final ultimatum. They stare at the idealist, unmoving.
Idealist, you're bleeding. It's in your chest.
I believe he's aware, Roberta. As his life drains away, the idealist appears unsurprised, simply turns his gaze towards Recoleta.
You must.
Yes. Idealist?
Can you speak louder, sir? I don't think he can. Unfinished words dissolve into silence as the prison itself begins to tremble. The entire exhibition hall twists and contorts, surrounding, warping beyond comprehension, as if dissolving into expanding freely.
What's going on?
Whoa. The hall is still. Time seems frozen in place until someone utters the first words.
Was he shot? Where did the bleed come from? Miss Jailer, and you ladies over there, come give me a hand. We need to get into the physician.
Her words ignite the first spark.
Did you do this, Octavia? You couldn't face the burning truth of his words, so you pierced his very heart instead. Just as it was blazing with the fire of justice.
But did you see a gun in her hands?
Or was it you, Jailer? Did you intend to crush the voice of poetry beneath your wheel of power? It has to be one of you devils in disguise, beasts in human skin.
I mean, I am totally down for free speech. That's some different level of censorship. Killing the guy in front of everyone was kind of crazy. But this guy is here is off his knockers as well, because like, did you see any of them holding a gun? It's literally a jaguar.
Can't you see? I had nothing to do with this. I'm as innocent as any of you. I've been trying to keep order here, to protect everyone. And now you blame me?
Don't listen to her! The idealist made it very clear! She's trying to get us punished for her own gain! You're a murderer, Octavia!
The prisoner's fury erupts. In the chaos, Soneta blocks an arcane skill that pierces the air.
This is mad. You're accusing me without proof. It wasn't me.
This is getting out of hand. I suggest you ladies leave now.
No, wait! It all happened too fast. What happened to the idealist? Is he alright?
Dakota, he was shot in the chest. I'm pretty sure he's not alright.
I didn't even get a chance to ask about Aleph.
As the tide of people surges around them, the line between life and death blurs beyond recognition.
I agree with the jailer. Timekeeper, Miss Recoleta, let's get out of here.
The violent conflict rages on and everything else becomes meaningless. I love how someone as intelligent as Recoleta can make such a dumb statement like that. On second watch, the idealist in Octavia's designs really help. While both are in the jacket, she has loose shackles, while he has none. Yeah, he's never shackled. It's like it's a very good meaning of he is technically free, while she is still shackled by chains. In this case, more than just physical ones. Now, that's a good way to perceive stuff. Nice. The illusion of time dissolves, its flow unknown. Under the garden's influence, the frenzy of prisoners begins to resemble an unreadable chaotic epic. At this moment, an unidentifiable figure enters their midst, though no one takes notice. The newcomer scrutinizes their motionless corpse.
His vitals are gone. At last, some peace and quiet. Well, for a liar and a thief like him, there's hardly a better end than this.
He reaches into the idealist's coat pocket and pulls out a die. It's an artifact marked by patterns veiled in smoke, an object seemingly not meant to exist in this world. A 20-sided die known only through an omniscient perspective. Now, it is stained in an utterly corrupted blackness.
Just as I thought. You had it all along.
What is that? Fate is like a mirror. Its strongest reflections are shaped by time. Up to this point, I have participated firsthand in several sessions of La Sociedad de Poeta de las Americas. Those literary experiments treated language as an advanced game, weaving reality and fiction into an invisible web, ensnaring everyone present in a maze of words. Never before had I been so intimate with literature, or thought about it so deeply. I was amazed by how words could so vividly express both playfulness and values. Until that ordinary afternoon when a poet named Eduardo was reciting his new piece with refined rhythm, and Miss Octavia was discussing the state of São Paulo with me. No one noticed anything unusual about Miss Julio's condition. Just like he wrote in the Tin Soldiers of São Paulo, the greatness of Latin America lies in the richness, and from that richness comes misfortune, gnawed by insatiable greed. One man's poverty is another's feast. Suffering nourishes joy. They are like river banks, clearly divided. This duality, this paradox, isn't it precisely the kind of question we should be passing through literature? The thud of bone against the hard surface interrupts her. Julio is banging his head against the wall. Not enough! Not enough! Not like this. You can't grasp space and time. I'm still missing some essential language frameworks and thought patterns. With our current language system, I cannot catch the ghost of time. I can only let it slip away from the tip of my pen. Miss Julio, what's wrong with you? Unlike the panicked Octavia, the other inmates around Julio seems unfazed. That wall is unscalable. Julio, I told you already. I can lend you some of my bandages from last week if you need them. For a permanent silent object, any form of narration is futile. In the end, you're just wrestling with your own shadow.
What are you all standing around for? Can't you see Julio's hurting himself?
Octavia is clearly flustered. Doris knows she must first eliminate any outside interference that might obstruct her ability to help. Octavia, let's calm down. Tell me, what do you see?
It's Mr. Julio. He's hurt. Bleeding.
Tried to break through the mirror of language with his head, but it was actually a wall. Oh no, I got an ad break. Okay, there's an ad break going right now. It is. Okay, I'm gonna get me some wafers. It's a cookie. I'm gonna get a cookie. I think you guys have wafers over in the United States and other places. But going to get cookie. BRB. Oh damn. Okay, cannot send that message on this one. This is open. No problem. Okay, going to get BRB. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'd rather that people can actually see me experience everything. So, guys, I'll be right back. I have returned. Let's continue. But now, Doris has learned how to filter out the surreal embellishments typical of La Sociedad members in order to correctly assess the situations. Yep, must be very complicated for you too, because like they really flourish everything. Glad to be back. Mirror or wall? Doesn't matter. Please, take a closer look and describe what you see, clearly and without embellishment. What is Miss Julio's condition? That's a good thing about someone that's a writer, is that they can actually define something very well if you ask them to actually stop flourishing all their words. His muscles are spasming uncontrollably, as if jolted by a cold electric current. His face is tightening, twisting like he's struggling against this silent force. His fingers are curling into unnatural shapes. His expression keeps changing, first pain, then panic, and finally blankness.
Sounds like he's having an epileptic seizure. Perhaps I could offer some help.
Guided by the sound of Julio's whimpers, Doris approaches. His head is bloodied.
Please, Miss Octavia, help me so I can help him.
Would you lay him down flat on his side? You have plenty to stop him from hurting himself. I can't use my arcane skill. Flashing lights could worsen an epileptic seizure. Does your arcane skill emit intense light? If so, I must ask you to refrain from using it. Octavia hurriedly retracts her incantation. She presses down on Julio's shoulder. It lowers him onto the cold, hard floor. The doctor kneels quickly and gently turns the man onto his side, preventing him from injuring himself any further. Very quick from Doris to catch that her incantation might make things worse. As time passed, Miss Julio's convulsion began to subside, but his body remained stiff, his jaw clenched tight. It took a disposable bite pad from the first aid kit and carefully placed it on his mouth to keep him from biting himself. Eventually, his situation came under control, and Miss Julio's breathing stabilized. And there, everyone went, straight back to the gathering as if they were only a minor inconvenience. Thank you for your help, Miss Erd. The doctor responds with a silent smile.
You seem experienced. Was it a major part of your responsibilities in Sao Paulo?
Yes. Saving others is my profession. Writing is my hobby. In my home, I am first and foremost a doctor. Zerd, you have my utmost admiration. As a doctor, as a writer, and even more as a person beyond any social categorization. You, a doctor who actually believed in the favelas, pointed the barrel at yourself before wielding your words as a weapon. Compared to you, I've achieved nothing of substance. All I do is to wave ideals around, as if that's enough. Miss Octavia, I am simply a writer who follows her curiosity. I'm afraid I'm not qualified to provide you with any concrete advice, nor am I as great as you say.
You're well prepared for your vision and ambition, for modesty is such an essential part of writing, and you've just demonstrated a skillful use of introspection.
Yes, you need to first look inwards and see what you feel your own flaws lie, and then you need to have some level of criticism to see what really is a problem or is just something that you're trying to project.
Thank you for your kind words.
but I like to return to my room and think for a while. See you tomorrow. I can sometimes feel like Octavia. Being surrounded by very amazing, intelligent people can make you feel lesser than a couple of times. But people gotta remember that it's just because, let's say, Octavia probably cares a lot about writing, and she is surrounded by other artists and writers, so she compares herself heavily to them. Like, that's the only actual skill that matters and that she possesses, which is completely false. She probably has way more skills at her disposal than just this one. And her other skills can also aid this one particular one to stand out amongst the crowd. And that's what I try to sometimes see on myself and other people, is that you might not be not the best on what you want to do, but your other skills and life experiences can actually support you in something and make you do something that other people can't. The idealist pursues his ideal to erect a magnificent vision atop the tower of literature. But for those outside the tower, what good is that magnificence? Here I am, locked away in a prison, my words going no further than these walls. I even only have my life because my wretched father.
It was foolish to think that ideas alone could ease people's pain.
Maybe we're not different from the heretics who were burned at the stake in the Middle Ages. Perhaps only professionals like Miss Erd, doctors with real expertise, can truly save a person. Wait, but this prison does have a doctor meant to handle every kind of issue, whose specialty is precisely in the mental field. By the way, I will completely overrule what she just said. Doctors are meant to save people. I feel like writers save people. I've known many people that were saved by pieces of literature. So, words do have power to move human beings, especially whenever they're going through dark times, and they feel that they are not very well understood. People can find solace and understanding in other pieces of media. Sometimes it's harder for people to relate to humans at all. That's why a lot of young folks are actually going for AI chats to find some level of empathy, because they do not feel the humans understand them well enough. They need to find a computer to regurgitate words back to them in order for them to feel some kind of relief. And I wouldn't blame them to do that overall, especially if you had some traumas or abuse in your past, and that's why you have a hard time trusting or really confiding in other people. This game has such great writing, 100%. I keep reiterating that when it comes to writing and just trying new stuff, Reverse really aces over other games. But he's not just a doctor, he's the overseer of this prison. I once asked the idealist why the person in charge here wasn't a regular jailer or a police chief, but a physician. As expected, he brushed me off with some grandiose, idealistic rhetoric. But why has the idealist always seemed so opposed to the physician?
Why?
Why can't patients like Mr. Julio, who are clearly suffering, be sent to him?
Puzzles on top of puzzles. Questions after questions. My head.
Her sigh echoes through the circular building, and is soon answered by a chorus of other sighs.
I can't do this anymore.
I'm still eating my cookie through pauses. Miss Octavia turned and walked away. Though she looked disheartened, I could still see the power of unwavering force that drove her forward. What would that force be for me? Looking back, I too began to reflect on myself, to contemplate fate, that grand and irreversible force. I do find fate a funny thing.
Ladies, I must apologize for what happened back there. We were caught off guard. There has never been a commotion of that scale before. I must report this to the physician.
Don't worry, Miss Jailer. We made it out in one piece.
Thank you for your understanding. Ordinarily, I would arrange to escort you to a safer location, but I'm afraid at this hour you'll have missed the last train. And the roads are icy at night.
I'm a little confused about something. Sorry. That area that we were turned into a flower field, but nobody's reacting like anything's out of the ordinary. Couldn't they see it? Or if they could, does this ability do not allow them to perceive the outer reality as something different? We're just not going to address that at all. Hearing this, Recoleta exchanges a quick but meaningful expression with her companions.
Psst. Vernon, we can't leave like this. We appreciate your kind consideration, Miss Jailer, but we still have some unfinished business here.
I see. I'll arrange a clean room in a safer section for you. We'll do our best to ensure your safety tonight.
Don't worry. We can protect ourselves. You have a suitcase full of arcanists. Night falls as the girls huddle together, scrutinizing their familiar surroundings.
They actually found us a spare room.
Bleak, quiet, and somber. It's a cell like all the others.
Don't worry. This isn't the first time we've ended up on the wrong side of the bars.
It was not.
At least this time we're just here for the night, not a full sentence.
Sonata lets out a whispered thin protest.
Though this cell is quite different from the ones we've been in before.
Not just the cell. The whole prison is unlike anything I've seen. And the society they've been running here isn't some mere pastime. They're having real discussions about meaningful topics, even though the rest of the world has been cut off from them.
But we're still in an Arcanist prison. A place where conflicts and violence can erupt at any moment. Let's not forget that. Miss Jailer warned us from the start. These prisoners are mentally unstable and potentially dangerous.
I think I just realized that. But Sonata just then did the Italian hand whenever you point all your fingers together. I like that even though she has no ties with her Italian heritage, she still has some acts of like, this clearly is an Italian person at heart. That was kind of funny, I guess. I think I never paid attention to her mannerisms and hand movements since now.
Miss Recoleta, with all due respect, we can't afford to see this place through rose-colored glasses. We'd be overlooking the risks, as we did earlier.
And with all due respect, Soneto, we didn't overlook any danger. At least I didn't. A writer must be observant if she is to accurately reflect the world in her writing.
But you...
We came here with different goals. And still, none of them have been accomplished. I suggest we focus on our respective missions, instead of fighting with one another.
Thank you,
Apologies,
Virgin.
Timekeeper. Miss Recoleta, I take back everything I said.
Don't apologize, Soneto. I'm at fault too. Sometimes I forget that words can be as sharp as swords. You were only thinking about our safety. I shouldn't have been so rude. I actually really admire how you fought back there. If you'd allow me, I'd like to write a poem for you, once my novel's finished.
Neat.
That's terribly kind of you. But honestly, I think we've had enough poetry today to last a lifetime.
Let me know if you change your mind. By the way, did either of you see what happened to the idealist?
Recalling their recent conflict, the Indomitable girl finally
The
hesitates.
jailer told me she went back to the gallery once everything calmed down. She found nothing. No blood, no shell cases, not even a trace of the idealist.
Timekeeper, now's really not the time for ghost stories.
And then Lee,
You mean
where
that
are
maybe
you?
the idealist somehow managed to get out of there on his own? Or perhaps someone else helped him.
Well, according to the idealist and our jailer, any inmates who are unwell will be taken to the physician. It's possible someone brought him there, while everyone else was shouting and running about.
You're right. It could be that he's with the physician right now. I'm relieved. That was a sudden plot twist, but a visionary of his magnitude doesn't deserve to die in silence like that.
To be fair, the gunshot was quite loud, as was the ensuing commotion.
Nonetheless, he couldn't have just died like that. I mean, the writers would riot if a writer were to kill off a character so abruptly.
Oh, but that's also nice. Oh, everybody likes a plot twist.
But you believe he's still alive too, am I right?
She knows her words are merely a cover. She needs an answer, a real, undeniable answer.
There's nothing that we can be certain of for now. But on a brighter note, we didn't come back empty-handed from our mission either, Sonetto. We found Dr. Dorez's signature in the gallery. You were right all along, Recoleta. She was here.
But we didn't see her at the gathering. Could something have happened to her, like with the idealist?
Do you think she was also sent to the physician and never made it back?
This is all just speculation. If we want to find the idealist, or Dr. Dorez, we need to speak to this physician first. Miss Recoleta, do you believe that the idealist could be your pen pal, Aleph?
Whether he is or not, he's still my best lead.
That name touches a nerve once again.
Amigas, I've had this strange feeling in my gut since we got here. Something is slowing us down. Now to figure out what it is.
Also, it's very cute whenever she called them amigas. Silent fear grips her, like ripples suddenly appearing on an once still lake, unsettling in its quiet disturbance.
Look, it's a wild guess, but just wait till I finish. It
Okay.
feels like everything happening in this prison is somehow connected to my novel. El auge y la caída de la cordura.
We're no strangers to wild guesses, and sometimes they're closer to the truth than you'd think. So this,
The rise and fall of sanity.
sorry. What exactly is your story about?
The rise and fall of sanity. I think it's kind of very clear. A question scatters the midnight gloom outside. Moonlight spills over gray-white snow.
Huh. Nunca pensé que te interesaría.
Wow, you just said it's linked to your story, so of course she's interested. Sometimes Recoleta says stuff and I find it a little out of pocket, like, what do you expect people to answer you with?
It starts... Sorry, it's been a while since I told it from the beginning. A few years ago, I worked as a forest ranger. It happened in a desert town called Amalfitano.
in Sonora back in 1975.
To you patient listeners, watch the stammering girl, waiting for the next part of her story.
You know what? Most people say the beginning's a bit hard to get into, except for Aleph. I'm thinking of rewriting it.
Come on, just keep going with the story.
But if you like the sound of it so far, maybe I could read you the latest part I just finished?
He studies her readers' expressions, guessing madly at their responses.
Please.
Okay, I like the
Todo
shot.
empezó con los datos de frecuencia de las cintas. El patrón general parecía haber cambiado. Al principio, la investigadora de paracausalidad lo atribuyó a un error estadístico. Un fallo, tal vez. Oh, sorry, but after a few days and long nights of meticulous calculations, that explanation only became less and less plausible. The odds of success and failure kept shifting, and the chance of repeating the previous result kept growing. It was as if someone had tampered with the rules and tweaked it to their liking. She took her findings to Amalfitano, the town of nothing, as they called it then. Near the old looms, she met a blind weaver who spoke softly of an old tale. I heard a strange rustling at dawn, like a die rolling along a wooden floor. Then the morning light dimmed and died. That was the last time I saw the sun, my own hands, or the threads I worked with.
Kinda silly. I know that they are looking at Recoleta in the book, but Verting looked like that. It's like she was looking straight at Recoleta's cleavage. Kinda silly. Hello, Lady Death Iron, how are you doing? How am I? I'm doing swimmingly good. Thank you for asking. Had a great weekend. I'm enjoying some great literary game right now.
The second time I heard the die roll, I was told the oxen in the fields sank to their knees and never stood again. By the third roll, the fields were crawling with frogs. Plows ran over them, and some still writhed, squeezing themselves deeper into the cracks in the earth. The fourth time the die rolled, 10 dormice plunged into the sea in a strange sleepwalk, and 10 bears feasted for the last time before winter arrived.
Yeah, this game's character design is flawless, and when it comes to just
The final roll of the die
very neat
was cast
designs
in a cage during
and
the
details.
duel. Before a crowd of eager eyes, the winner left with 10 pounds of gold, and the loser left with 10 flies, which fell on him to feast.
I know, Vertin. Kinda complicated. Couldn't grasp a single thing. The quiet spreads through their cell like a rolling tide.
Is that all?
Seems like it.
Well, there's more, but I haven't quite figured those parts out yet.
Glad you had a nice weekend. Mine was stressful, sadly. I'm so sorry. Hope you can have then some time eventually to rest up. I know it can be a little complicated when you go through stressful things, but we gotta give us some time to recharge.
Any thoughts? Anything. I can take it. Please, I really need some feedback.
I wonder if the protagonist ever finds this die of Babylon in the end.
Oh, Vertin, it isn't a real die, it's just a metaphor.
Oh, I see. I must have missed that. Sorry. Still, it's a beautiful story. Sad, but beautiful.
The story is still too obscure, isn't it?
Yes.
Aleph warned me about this. In our last correspondence, he suggested adding the blind weaver to shed light on the hidden theme.
In term, this probably is Doris, or
It
Erd.
helped at first, but even with a sage advice, no matter how hard I tried, the plot just didn't seem to move forward. Feel stuck in that village with them, lost, dazed, isolated inside their small, disconnected moments. Something crucial is missing, leaving gaps between the characters and the scenes. Should I change the storyteller's perspective? Start a different angle? Or maybe rewrite the characters completely? What should I do?
Before the writer sinks into a swirling vortex of self-doubt, someone decides to push for something tangible.
Apologies, but you said your story somehow connects to what's happening here in the Panopticon. What makes you think that?
Yeah, so far everything you said makes no sense. Before, like, well, there is some similarities, of course. The blind sage that he suggested her to add might be Erd. The Die of Babylon might be actually that one that he took from, well, technically himself. Yeah, you're welcome. Again, unwinding is very important for us.
It's a strange feeling. Like, everything here belongs to a dream I once had. Only, I can't remember it.
I have also a terrible time remembering dreams, but in all fairness, I have a terrible time remembering anything.
Do you mean that you have a sense of déjà vu? It's nothing to worry about. Our psychiatrist friend Kakanya told me those moments are often the result of a dysfunctional connection between two parts of the brain. Like a little glitch in our heads.
Kakanya was mentioned! Where are the people? Where are the blurbs? Doctor? What on earth have I done wrong? And nice. It's very nice that Kakanya was actually mentioned by Sonito of all people.
No, it's nothing like deja vu.
And also, she's not a licensed psychiatrist. The storyteller snaps back, politely agitated.
Deja vu is a single moment, a specific situation. But here it's everything. La sociedad, the rules, the idealist, even the incidents in the gallery. Each one unfolds in a similar pattern, like the grooves on a record, telling a story I feel I've listened to before. Amalfitano and Comala. They're two sides of that same record, playing out the same tune. Whatever happens in my story seems to be happening here too. I had that feeling when I met you as well, Miss Verton. At first I thought it was only an interesting coincidence. You're much like the first character in my story. A traveler with a suitcase.
The girl rambles on, desperately relating to her characters.
But then I realized, the doctor, your Dores, she's like the blind weaver who lost her sight to the dye despite having always been faithful to it. And the jailer, she's the bank clerk who assisted the corporation in taking over the town in order to escape her past. And the idealist, he's the murdered donkey driver, and the Die of Babylon.
Murdered donkey driver.
No. Mis queridos amigos ficticios. ¿Qué rayos les está pasando?
Wait. Are you saying that everyone we've met here matches a character from your story? That sounds unbelievable. But then again, maybe you're onto something.
Maybe. Okay, hear me out. Maybe Recoleta is actually a diviner, but her method of divination comes within dreams, and she writes them as stories. But she can kind of maybe see the future. She could be a prophetess.
You see the world through a different lens that none of us share.
Not just the characters. The events here are mirroring my story too. Aleph, he's the only one who truly understood my story. If things are playing out just like my novel, then maybe Aleph is in fact still here.
Are you suggesting that someone is controlling the Panopticon in order to make it follow the same plot as your story? That they've set the rules, started the poetry group, planned the attack on the idealist, and tried to prevent us from finding Dr. Dores? If that's true, Miss Recoleta, it's very likely that the one acting against us is in fact Aleph himself.
Nicoletta never expected the chain of reasoning to unravel this way.
But No. How could that be possible?
She interrupts, only for confusion to creep onto her face moments later. Well, let's see. Aleph has been exchanging notes with her and giving her kind of a pathway for her to go through. Maybe he knows that maybe she's influencing the story somehow and is using her to influence the story himself. Maybe he's using her to do the whole thing by himself. I'm still confused, but we're starting to get somewhere.
Why? Why would he do this?
And also, you gotta remember the novel or the piece of writing that Doris was writing here was called Fate, and this is very much so Fate.
I don't see any reason why he'd be connected. He's an intelligent, cultured, and profound person, not a common killer. No, none of this adds up.
Remember, Dr. Doris was brought to Ushuaia by the Xeno rebels. And we know they're connected to Manus Vindicte. If this Aleph really is hiding Doris from us, he may be working with them.
Recoleta stares blankly for a time before clumsily shifting the topic.
Oh, my... Soneto. I didn't know you had such a flair for stories. Maybe you should join us and become a visceral realist too.
Come down, we have more things to do.
I think you're only imagining things. Perhaps you were inspired by this strange prison?
Perhaps we all need to start writing our own stories. Come out now. Whoever's out there, speak up. How can we help you?
Who's there?
Ah, Bangala!
Good timing.
Be serious. They won't move your legs.
Advice from the forest.
That was lightning. Easy. Copy that. Gacha, Lily.
Penetrate.
Come back. I need your feedback on our session.
I think Kakainia would be very good on this one story here. It's all about mental illnesses and people with diagnoses and stuff. I think she would be a very cool character to have around. But she probably would be a little too annoying when it comes to just trying to overanalyze everyone. The Central Tower. A silent and merciless order of ideals.
Easy, easy. It's me, Garcia. We met at the gallery earlier. Please, I come in peace.
Recoleta pays no mind to the young man's explanations. Her focus holds on the woman beside him.
It's you, Octavia! The murderer herself!
Calm down!
Please, calm yourself, Miss Recoleta. The jailer has already confirmed that she wasn't the one to fire at the idealist. The shot came from somewhere else in the room.
You guys were right there. Pretty sure that was a jailer. The jailer would lock up Kakainia up a bit. Oh, Kakainia would probably piss everyone off to the point that she would be needed to be locked up. Because she already wants to overanalyze everyone, and most people that she talks to were not even in dire need of health. Could you imagine what she would be doing on this place? Recoleta bites her lip, giving up a little space to the intruders.
Miss Octavia, what brings you here at this hour?
So far, I find Recoleta a little bit annoying.
I come here out of goodwill. Believe me, I didn't want any bloodshed either. I understand you just arrived today. There's something you need to know about the inmates here.
Their visitor's expression is wary and low.
We're outcasts, rejected by society and literature, and our privileges are limited within these walls. But before I started my own literature group, I struck a deal with the Panopticon authorities. If we cooperate and stay out of trouble, they'd leave us be. We could discuss literature freely and openly in Comala. Such a thing may seem trivial to you, but this is of immense importance to us.
Oh, there's no happier thing in this world than discussing literature. No one should ever put limits on it.
You're right, Recoleta. But we're prisoners here. There are certain rules we have to follow. Except, the idealist didn't see it our way. He refused to compromise, believing that the long poem and his so-called ism could break us free from the cage of the ever-watchful eye.
Perhaps he was right. You might have achieved more if you'd listened to him. After all, visceral realism keeps us connected to who we are.
You have to believe in the truth of visceral realism. Because out there, beyond these walls, many of us still do.
And what has it changed? Garcia, you're the latest inmate here. Tell us, 3 months ago, before they arrested you and took you here, what has the visceral realism movement accomplished out there?
Besides them, Garcia, who had been patiently leaning against the railing, produces a metallic vibration on its grates. A rough paper rolls, burns between his lips.
At first, it was revolutionary. Young poets joined in droves. We held gatherings. And the literary world seemed alive again. I was just a kid when the leading poets left the city. Everyone thought it was only temporary. But it didn't come back. And nothing has happened since. No one says it. But we all know. Visceral realism died in 1977.
No, not for me. It's not dead as long as people still believe in it. I believe in it.
Octavia ignores the childish remarks. She knows that conviction can be as fragile as a spider's web.
Belief, faith, what is this obsession with the true self? Why does your type always insist on there being a true self hiding beneath our roles in society? Our disciplines?
Look at the idealist. He never once stopped fighting for what he believed in, even long after he was put behind these bars.
Idealist, what a name he gave himself. Who will he be when he finally breaks free from the eyes of the central tower? When he's left without his willful audience? And nobody. That's what. And that is a truth even he is terrified of.
Miss Octavia, I hope you've come with something more important to share than just some criticism of the idealist.
Everything was like, dude, if you're not gonna say anything important, why did you even bother coming here? We're not here to discuss literature and who the person in the self is.
You're right. I have an important message for you.
Thank you.
Dr. Torres, I heard you were looking for her. The woman from the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence. She used to write under the name Erd, didn't she?
Yes, that's right. Do you know her? You're the first person I've met here to speak plainly about her. Do you know where she might be?
We crossed paths, but only briefly. I'm not sure where she's gone. Maybe the authorities know. However, she left this with me. I think you'll need it more than I do.
Octavia hands over her personal folder. Before they might open it, she has already turned to leave.
We have other matters to attend to. I'll leave you to your business. Garcia, shall we?
Their visitors leave in haste, their faces and expressions obscured by night's shadows. The Foundation's investigators open the worn manuscript folder with caution.
The physician told me the horrifying truth about the panopticon of Kamala and the power behind it. Manus Vindictae. By becoming the panopticon's sole patron, they seized control of the resources and the allocation system, turning this place into a living hell. I suspect that the physician, the current highest authority here, is responsible for this situation.
So we're basically saying that Aleph is part of the Vindictae? Of the Manuses, sorry.
I discovered that the inmates were put through brutal training, even when they were too sick to carry out their tasks. They also forced pure-blood Arcanist inmates to wear their masks, effectively turning them into murmuring puppets.
Just as we suspected. Manus Vindictae is orchestrating everything. No wonder we didn't find them in the city. They've been hiding here all along.
No one would have thought to come looking for them here.
He snapped the folder shut. A familiar signature seen on the forward page of Utu magazine, and the receipt found in San Paulo's Harfell home.
But why would Miss Octavia bring this to us? What's in it for her? Do you think she's trying to mislead us, Timekeeper?
Maybe. But the handwriting in that notebook is most certainly Erd's. If she's leading us astray on purpose, why? Miss Recoleta, what do you think? Could she be Aleph?
Not a chance. Haven't you seen how she denies everything beautiful in the world? Aleph would never be so biased. No. Aleph is like a mirror. He reflects both light and shadow. But, Octavia, maybe she hasn't looked at the shadow within for a long time. I know that look on her face. It's the look of a writer. I've seen so many like her during my trip. The faces of a lost, struggling generation.
Under the night sky, Kamala Prison stands like a forgotten gravestone, covered by fine cold snow. In a room repurposed from a prison cell, three girls in search of someone share an absurd, bizarre tale. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the central watchtower, a jaguar knocks on a secure door.
Dr. Merlin, I'm here to report on today's events.
Come in.
Merlin. So that's the alias that Aleph is using? The wizard from the Arthurian mythos? Frantic, writing breaks the quiet of the room. The jailer's visit do not deter the man behind the desk. He continues writing, wholly absorbed, as if each letter were filling the world around him.
There was a commotion in the gallery today, sir. An inmate known as the Idealist was severely injured. The inmates nearby said he lost consciousness from blood loss. However, after we put everyone back in their cell, the Idealist was gone. I made a sweep of the grounds, but there was no trace of him. It's possible that he regained consciousness and went into hiding. I'll perform a full search tomorrow.
The jaguar finds herself quite unexpectedly concealing the truth about Pablo.
No need.
Sir?
He knew the consequences of breaking the rules, did he not?
Sir, with all due respect, I think today's incident proved just how dangerous it is to let the inmates keep their weapons.
Who could have guessed?
We never should have let them walk around with deadly weapons. Even if we had to, we should have doubled the guards. We can't expect them to follow their own rules simply out of fear of the central tower.
The physician interrupts her sharply, with no hint of concern.
Such matters fall beyond your purview, jailer. You only need to do what's required of your title.
Just do what you've been told.
Is there anything else?
There is another thing. 2 guests from the Foundation came through today. They said they were looking for someone named Doris. They've shown a willingness to cooperate, though they were involved with the incident in Corridor Zero.
The sound of writing continues. The report is disregarded. The jailer takes a deep breath. The next part is difficult to say.
Sir, there is one more thing. I told Miss Octavia we're short on rations, and she's adjusted the inmates' portions accordingly, but that won't last long. Manus Vindicti stopped providing supplies back in March, and Sino has collected all the prisoners they had previously placed in her custody. I just wonder why they have so suddenly withdrawn from Ushuaia and brought all the prisoners with them. I also noticed that we haven't received any orders from the government since Warden Tartuffe was transferred. In fact, we haven't had any communication with them at all. Sir, in frank terms, we're facing down a serious shortage of medicine, food, and basic supplies. At this rate, the Panopticon will soon be unable to operate. Where will our inmates go then?
The man before her says nothing for a long time. His pen still flickering over the page.
Can we ask the Foundation for help? They've sent their people here. Maybe they're interested in the Panopticon? I could arrange a meeting if you like.
You're unusually talkative today.
The man finally stops writing and looks up.
Pardon, sir?
That's fascinating, you know. You've become so much more concerned about this place and its inmates than
I
when you first
love his
started.
design.
You are now dictated by your title.
I didn't mean to overstep. I'm sorry.
You can go now. I have a great deal of work to do. Oh, and one more thing.
He beckons the jailer back before she leaves.
Make sure this month's Kamala Congress is held according to schedule.
Yes, sir.
A jaguar disappears beyond the door, metallic footsteps fading into the distance. Only then does the physician allow his suppressed frustration to surface.
How many times have I warned you about this? The idealist has to go. He's nothing but trouble for us. You're too soft on him, Aleph. Look at the mess he has us in now. Calm down. He's a rabble-rousing thief, a self-destructive maniac, a snake in the grass. He even stole the tea of Kamala from me. He's nearly ruined everything we've worked for.
No, she's a jaguar. The man angrily raises the once lost and now found die. In the dim room, it flickers with a comforting glow.
It's only a die, Merlin. It does nothing more than a die can do. You were there today. You saw what he did. He managed to change the Panopticon with this die, even if only for a second. He'll ruin my work, Aleph. He's a slave to his passion. His head is filled with impulsive thoughts. I don't trust him. We can't trust him. I've done everything you've asked. Now it's time to do your part.
Aleph responds with indifference to the physician's frustrations, continuing his writing without pause.
Time's ticking down. I can't afford any further mistakes. No one can be permitted to stop my experiment in the Panopticon. I'll prove it to them that we have found the path to the ultimate answer.
Cool. Again, such a fascinating character. Just the fact of the split personality is just so cool. So cool. But I feel that this is best time than ever to stop. We are in chapter 10, and I've already been told that this we're part 10, and we know that this chapter has 20 whole things, so we can probably finish this. Well, probably, maybe finish this by Friday, whenever I retake Reverse. One of the most complicated, writing-wise, chapters I've ever witnessed. Not only on Reverse, but in many games. Because we're talking about writers, and we're talking about philosophies, and we're talking about thinking and beliefs and stuff. And everything is very abstract and not very laid out and clear. So it's a very dense reading, and you really need to put your noggin to it, unless you really just want to fly by it. But I guess like this type of story needs to be experienced thoughtfully. You need to pay attention to what's being said, because there's a lot of references, there's a lot of writing. I'm eager to see what Dan taught about Reddit. Someone on Reddit doing an essay on this whole chapter, because I feel that that's necessary for us to break down everything that's been delivered and spoken in here. Yes, I agree. Very interesting. You have me so invested in this now. Surface layer is relatively beginner friendly, but this story truly has layers like Shrek and onions. Exactly! Ogres and onions! Yes! And oh damn, how many onions this prison has. It's very fascinating, really. Again, Bloodpatch really aces itself when it comes to writing, because really, no gacha game is doing this. Probably gacha games just feel that most of their players are dumb. That's probably one of the reasons why they don't try to push the narrative further ahead. But at least there's someone out there doing it. Shrek and onions. Can you name a better combination? Right. I cannot. Not at this point. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Before I go, let me just set up the raid. We're gonna be raiding Frank, if he's still playing. Yes, of course he is. Yes, we're gonna be raiding Frank. It's gonna be interesting to raid someone that's completely like outside of my bubble when it comes to. I never raided them, but I appreciate you all for coming. I see you probably over on Friday if you're just interested in Reverse, or tomorrow because we're gonna do more Heaven Burns Red. Thank you everyone, and let's start the raid. Don't forget to be kind to yourselves and to each other, and I see you all in the next one. Setting up the raid. Bye bye. Archer is out.